here on a boat. They'll leave here in a hearse. They'll leave here through the dirts. They're going through the earth. We're channeling their ancestors to undo their curse. Cause once upon a time, we all could read and write. That legalese is lies. Strong men spelled cursive ties. Strong men all caps disguise. They've gentrified our lives. We've redefined their sights. We've redefined their kind. Yes, this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. This shit here is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose it. Yes, this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. Yes, this shit is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose it. When you chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor you gon' choose? Play their game, but by our rules. I'm Queen Annie the Maroon. I am Queen of Dongo. I am Queen of Zinga. I am Yenaga. I'm Carlotta and Fermina. Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor you gon' choose? Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor you gon' choose? Cause I am a goddess. I am a priestess. I chant these mantras and they all repeat it. If we make a promise, this land we gon' seize it. Get vengeance for Mother Earth treason. This ain't the gentrifier. This for the gentrifiers. This for the gentrifiers. This for the gentrifiers. Repetition of empires. Invading land with gunfire. Slavery not posters for higher. Income not what you desire. Outcome working jobs by hours. Mindset waiting to retire. Never stop working for dollars. Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. Which ancestor you gon' choose? When you chant, they gonna lose. Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. Which ancestor we gon' choose? When we chant, they gonna lose. My spirit guides come in with that sin. My ancestors defend. I got that juice to transcend. My spirit guides come in with that sin. My ancestors defend. I got that juice to transcend. Cause I am a Santi, I am a Sata, I am a Hosi, I am a Homie, I am a Tamba. Yes, I am a Tamba. Cause I am a Santi, I am a Sata, I am a Hosi, I am a Homie, I am a Tamba. Yes, I am a Tamba. Yes, this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. When we chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor we gon' choose? Hey, choose. Cause when we chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor we gon' choose?
Peace, peace.
Hey, peace, y'all. So
Greetings,
happy to be here.
everybody. Yeah, happy to be here too.
Yes, welcome to Virgo Version Talk. This episode is called Labeling of the Lands. We're gonna talk about the history of the maps and the borders and stuff.
So excited about getting
And that's
into
fun.
this. Everything's a lot clearer to me now. It's all coming together. Everything's making so much sense.
It really did. Like it made the Bible make sense to me in different ways, the lineages and the history of certain things and all that. Like all that stuff is starting to come together. And then like the science behind the Moors is starting to make sense to me now too. Like, oh, okay. You know, not to say I was denying, their logic before, it just wasn't clicking in my mind. But now it's starting to click.
Really? Oh.
It's clicking.
I always trust what
I still don't like their energy. But it's clicking.
Well, I did. Do you remember the video I sent you on YouTube? It was a Moorish guy. I forgot what his name was, so whatever. I liked his energy though, because he respects the woman, and that was a point that he made. Like all men come from all women come from a vagina. We don't know. There's no man there's no woman that come from a man's balls. There's no man that come from a man's balls. We all come from women. Okay, know that. I'm like, I fucks with that nigga. He knows. I mean, that king.
Absolutely. I talked about that earlier today on the Caesar Sun podcast about the dethroning of the women, not just the Aboriginal women, but like women in general. And you could see that in a lot of the historical books. Like me and you were complaining about that when we were talking about the lineages. You know, everybody was
Mm-hmm.
just talking about the fathers, the patriarchal line. And it's like, but the
Yeah.
women are the ones that pass down the mitochondrial DNA. So why aren't we including that in the lineage? I know why. And then it's like the only time the women were even spoken of is when it was talking about like some crazy, story, like Lot's daughters or Jezebel or Ruth or whatever. And it's just like,
Mary
all right, cool,
Magdalene,
whatever.
a prostitute. When you want to degrade a
Yeah.
woman or something, yeah.
Mary and Joseph, Mary Magdalene. And so it's just like, we just got to do our shadow work as a people, I mean, also just being present. Like I see the healing happening in the present, but not more so in. It's like the healing is happening in the present, but there's still like a glamorization of past empires and past behaviors and past cultures and stuff like that that demeaned women. And instead of
Mm-hmm.
calling a spade, it's like, no, it wasn't like that back then because I said it wasn't. Well, no, that's not true. It was like that back then. And you like that period of time because it looks pretty to you because you see the aboriginals on crown with crowns on their head and riding horses and writing books and doing astronomy and astrology, and yes, that's empowering compared to the images we kept seeing of our men getting beaten and raped in front of the women and the children getting sold like it's a way better image to look at. I get it, but a spade is
Right.
a spade. Let's be present and create our tribes of the present and heal. And the men and women need to learn how to complement each other instead of competing with each other. Because I'm not trying to compete with no man. I need y'all niggas. I need the gods. There
There's
would
no
be no
there is no
sunshine, Monet.
competition.
There
Yeah.
is no competition. I'm not competing with no man. I'm not. I'm
Mhm.
not. I don't want to. There would be no sunshine, Monet L, as y'all know it, if I didn't align with the gods around me. From my music to the podcast to the jewelry and the marketing, everything in between. Even my business coach is a man. My spiritual coach is a man. My Ifa priest is a man. Like, I love men.
I ain't
I
gonna hold
I don't
you.
deny
I trusted a
that.
lot of men's judgment more than a lot of women's judgment and a lot of men's teachings than like I love both my parents or whatever, but I look to my dad
Mhm,
on certain things more so than I look to my mom. When I look at my mom, it's more emotional and stuff like that or whatever, and the wisdom that she has from, you know, her side of being a woman. But when it comes to like society and other shit like that, handling business, whatever, I look to my dad for that. So
mm,
I can relate
respect.
to that. I can relate to that in a sense. Not to say he don't get on my nerves
Did
though,
I argue with
but that's
you?
another
I look
story.
at my mom for all that shit. The only time I look for my dad is if something's wrong with my car.
Oh yeah, and not to mention if something's wrong with the vehicle or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Hmm. But
Yep.
it's just that men have I mean, women have their intellect and men have their intellect too, and
Mhm.
sometimes a man's intellect it is very different, and it's a
It
different
is.
explanation. It's a different side. That it's a different viewpoint. It's a different perspective. When you listen at it coming from a man than versus the woman. Women's intellect, I can understand. I get it. I connect with that. Men's just like, so that's how y'all think. Okay, I get it now. Kind of like with the more science, because a lot of men write the more scientific books, right?
Right.
And they do a lot of the teachings. So
Mhm. And they
mhm,
talk about women.
mhm,
It's like they talk about them, and it's crazy because I'll talk to them more, and they'll be, singing the praises of the women until it's time to start doing away with certain words and mindsets. Then it's like,
mhm.
oh, no, 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 no. Women are still from a man's rib. They're still the helpmate. They still have to submit. And it's like their definition of submission is not a man has to submit too,
Yeah,
and that's the part they don't want to talk about because then they start getting triggered. But then they get mad when we get triggered. And it's like that's because there's a lack of healing here. You're still trying to compete.
hold
You're
on.
still trying to be the big boss.
There's more men who believe that women come from a man's rib.
Oh yeah. Oof. Listen, I've been trying to interview, communicate, align with many Moorish temples, factions, and everything in between for the past 3 years. I tried to unite them. The first year I was so ambitious. I regret that
Mhm.
terribly.
Yeah.
I was trying to unite the temples and the different factions, and that backfired. All it did was I was on a bunch of lives doing a bunch of interviews, and everybody was arguing the entire time. There was no respect whatsoever for each other's point of view, and that's why women need to come in and be on the throne in these temples, because women speak unity while men speak
Mhm.
separation. And the men's
Mm.
version of separation is most definitely necessary because that's what gets things done too. But when there's a lack of feminine energy, you have stuff like this going on. All these wars and mine, and me, and I'm more powerful and wah, 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 because that's how men are. And that's how they should be. And that's what makes them so important and so complementary to our energy that's like, well, now let's unite. Let's talk about our feelings. Let's go inward.
My dick
You
is
know,
bigger than yours. It was cold that day.
basically, they be having piss contests, and we gotta come in and tell them to stop pissing. Let's do something different. You guys been having
Oh,
piss
yeah.
contests for the last like 2,000 years, and where has it gotten us? Nowhere.
Mm.
It's time to put the women on the microphone and on the
Yeah.
podiums. But you got to pick the right women, because this society has successfully created women who desire to be men. They have penis complexes. I won't lie, and I'm not going to speak for them because I don't really care for them either. Like I
Mm.
love men, and those women do not speak to me. They don't speak for me at all in any type of way, shape, or form.
And this
But there are a
society
lot of
men
them.
respect the women who are successful in their eyes, have a lot of wealth or whatever. And as long as a woman got a wealth in this society, as long as she has a lot of wealth in this society, she has the utmost respect. She can do whatever. She could be a slut
Right,
bucket, and that's just
right.
perfectly fine, long as she getting that bag. But you can't fuck with no broke hoes though. Mm-mm.
And that
So it's a
and
certain.
that's the
Mhm,
disconnect, because a broke
mhm,
hoe is usually one that's in her feelings. The one She's usually the
mhm,
one that has a lot of time to provide feminine energy. She has
mhm,
enough time to, make a house a home, to turn your seeds into a forest,
mhm.
to be your confidant, to be the person you can walk into business, rooms with and help you shake hands and this, that, and the third. Like, she's not broke. She's just not masculine. And that's the issue that I have with modern day people is like, oh, I can't be with
Mhm.
a woman that ain't doing nothing. Don't be with a woman that's doing nothing. Like, you don't want nobody that's doing
But
nothing.
yet you want to
But
wife somebody and
but
try
you
to
want a
turn them into a
masculine woman?
housewife. Yeah, I don't know what they want. I don't know what some of them
You
want.
want a masculine woman, but a masculine woman
Mhm.
ain't gonna do nothing but masculine shit. And what happens when two masculine individuals are in the same house? They compete, because that's what
Yeah.
masculine energy does. They separate and compete. So that's what you want?
Mhm.
You sure you want that? You want that, or you want peace? Because feminine energy is going to bring you peace. It's a
She gonna end up
difference.
pegging that nigga.
She ain't going to need him. The moment he slips up, she can leave him
Mhm.
because she
I
doesn't
know
need
somebody.
him.
I know somebody that happened to.
Oh, I know many people it happened to. They wanted a masculine woman. Oh my God, she got her own. She's so independent. I love it. I never have to do nothing for her. And then, oh, she don't cook. Oh, she doesn't make love to me. When I'm sad about things, she tells me to toughen up. Yeah, because she don't got a fucking feminine energy. You wanted a masculine woman, you got one. And as
Yeah,
soon as
you
she
want her to
doesn't
be the
need you,
protector and the
she leaves you.
provider. Yeah, for a
Do
more
you want a
masculine
provider, or do
man
you
or
want
a
to be the
woman.
provider?
She ends up being the masculine balance to a lesbian relationship. She ends up finding her a
Exactly.
sim.
Yeah, she gotta find her a girlfriend because you ain't doing it right. Well, maybe when she find that girlfriend, it'll soften her up or something. We don't know. But y'all
Yeah.
keep manifesting these masculine women out here, they're gonna start beating your ass. They already robbing y'all and drugging y'all. Like, what more do you
Oh,
want?
oh, Cardi B's.
Yeah,
And getting away with it, in fact, too.
yeah, getting
I
away
don't
with
know.
it. Look at Meg the Stallion. She just got away with some crazy stuff.
So he
Her
ain't
and
really
whoever
shoot
really
her.
shot her.
He ain't really shoot
That
her in
man,
the foot.
it was a witness that said it wasn't him. It was somebody else. All of that, and all that woman had to do was come. She did some voodoo. You know, Meg. You know, she's into voodoo and stuff.
So I thought that she was shot in the foot. And both her feet, in fact, she said she got shot in both. I thought they
Both
said
of them?
that I heard somewhere on it was on somebody's story I was looking at where they said that Tory Lanez admittedly said that he shot her. I was like, what? He said that after all, so he made a whole song say that he didn't shoot her, and now
He made a
he's saying
song
that he
say he
did.
didn't shoot her. He
I
didn't.
haven't
He
seen the
got
video
convicted
yet.
for it. I heard. I mean, honestly, I don't really be giving a fuck about culture. I seen
Me
a
neither.
couple articles. I seen one article that said that it was so many witnesses in the courtroom that said it was somebody else. I want to say her name was Kelly or Kelsey. I don't know. Don't let me
There's
lie to you.
another chick in the
But
car with them.
yeah, they were saying it was some other chicken that was
But she
with them,
was butt
and
ass naked though when she got out the car. Megan was. She was butt ass naked and walking backwards and some shit. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, she can walk. If I got shot in my damn foot, I ain't gonna be able to walk at all though. But you know, she
you
was
said
upset
both
and saying,
feet, right?
yeah, she got shot in both of
My
her
foot.
feet. You
You know how
shot
many
some.
bones is in your foot?
Yeah, the metatarsals are the like you. 9 times out of 10, somebody shooting you in your metatarsals. Okay, and you ain't gonna be able to walk.
Don't shoot me on metatarsals.
And those are very,
Yeah, like
very,
I
very
don't
delicate
remember there ever
bones.
being a yeah, I don't remember there ever being a period of time where I saw Megan with like crutches or anything. But again, like I said,
No, she
I don't
didn't.
listen to any of that music. I don't even be in that realm too much. Lately, a lot of shit has been leaking into my algorithm and I don't appreciate it. Um
Yeah,
And I
mine
think that's
too.
because I've been putting transformations on other people's videos, and I think that's oh, it's YouTube. Roxy said that earlier too. She said, the same videos I keep seeing with Krishan Rock and this weird nigga, and I don't even know who these people are, and they keep
Blueface.
showing up on my newsfeed.
He
Yeah,
sing that
who are these
song
people?
Tatiana. Bust down Tatiana.
Tatiana. I heard that word before.
That's the nigga who made that song, and then Cardi B went on the remix with him. I ain't gonna hold you. I thought that was the
Oh,
worst song
cool.
ever. I would listen to Future high on cocaine before I listen to Blueface because they sound just about the same, except he's worse. He at least Future could rap his
Somebody
bullshit on a
outside
beat.
shooting, starting the year off crazy, huh?
Somebody shooting. I hate this time of
Yeah,
year.
for
I
real.
hate it.
People so weird.
It's so dusty this time of the year. A lot of people are
Yeah, because
starting
it's not
to
even a real
realize.
New Year. Y'all just being weird.
Yeah, I asked somebody that today. I was like, "What
You know
makes
what's
y'all think it's
crazy?
a
They
new
do the
year?"
fireworks the same time. They'll do the fireworks and then you hear a gunshot in the middle of it. Like I
She's
can
like,
tell the
"Yeah, you know
difference.
what?"
You know,
It
y'all
was some
did
white
that all
people I was
summer.
talking to. She was like, "You know what? That is right." Instead of just picking like some random day, right? I'm like, "Yeah, basically,
Yeah,
yeah,
they planned it. Get right.
yeah." Oh my gosh, I was trying to look at our video so I could see the comments, and I just hear,
Started playing Baltimore club music.
"That's exactly what it was." You heard it? Oh gosh. Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
don't
see,
really
my
know
my
nothing
phone
about
is
them
dusty
people.
too.
Their stuff is starting to leak into my algorithms, and so now I see it, and I don't appreciate it. I don't care. I put this shoulder up. I put this shoulder up.
God damn. Whatever, however the hell it goes,
I don't
I
even know.
don't
I
know.
don't know the rest. That's how they
I
finish it.
I just said that I dip or something. I don't even know. I know I just get tired of hearing it.
That's as far as I get, and then I scroll to the next because I'm not entertaining this. Oh god,
It's
I really just do
repetitive.
just enough to get the stuff that to get our reels out. I literally do just enough on social media to get our reels out and to get people to be able to see them, and then I get offline because I hate it here. Social media
Right.
is like the river of sticks. I hate it
But
here.
I
All
mean,
these
I
poor
I ain't gonna
unfortunate
lie.
souls.
It's like it's
Peace,
like a
peace.
diary. It's like a diary that people write, but they want everybody to see
They're
their
always
diary.
sad. They're always
They're
sad, or
always
they're
doing something.
judgmental, or they're being mean, or they're talking like they never got punched in the face before. It's
Oh,
just,
ain't nobody about to
I'm
punch me.
good.
Ain't nobody about to do a motherfucking thing to me. They act like they don't give a damn about their followers that they have, the people who are making your platform bigger than where you first started. You know, like you're not giving them any respect or paying any homage to those people.
It'd be crazy because it's like,
What are we doing
I follow
here?
mostly business owners. I follow mostly business owners and like readers and stuff. And it'll be crazy
Hmm.
because you'll see posts like them promoting their business or their service or whatever. And then the very next post, I fucking hate people. Fuck you guys. You guys don't support me. You don't share my, like, just like, bro, who are you talking to? Like, this is not, is this your business page, or is this the page where you just like doing whatever because you
They
have to
do.
pick a team?
They,
You
they
can't do
do it
both.
all under they do it all under the same page. Sis, I got something like that too. They do it
That is
all under
so
the same
unprofessional.
page. Hmm.
Don't do all that
Hmm.
under the same, especially on the same. Like, okay, if you can scroll to the story, go up to the story, you'll see like buy this, shop this, support black business, and then you'll see this little rant like nobody ever supports me, and I hate all of you guys, and never share my shit. Like, do you want me to support you, or do you want me to like unfriend you or unfollow you? Because I am confused. I feel like you're pushing
You
me
know,
away.
I haven't
I
even
don't
got
see
to the
that
point
shit.
where I beg anybody to share or support my page or whatever. I'm like, it's just whatever to me. You know what I'm saying? It's just whatever. You come on the page,
Yeah.
and then what's crazy is I will always get people who ask me a million questions about my product, and I'll have a full fledged conversation with them, and then they don't buy. But it's okay. It happens a lot of times.
Right.
But I just really want
So
to just
many
say,
times.
ma'am, could you hurry the fuck up and buy? Can you hurry up and buy? Please, hurry up and buy.
You gotta start doing consultation appointments. I don't,
I have
I do
consultations on
consultation
there.
appointments now, and I'm working on what is the automatic response. So when you
Hmm.
message me, I'm automatically, if this is a business related message, then you can book a free consultation for 22 minutes on my website right here, and then we can
Girl,
talk. I can't keep spending like hours and hours of my time talking to somebody and they turn around and not buy my product. You know how many times I made like custom orders for people and they never purchased them?
mm,
Like, nah, I'm good off that. We're not gonna
yeah.
keep doing that.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, see. Well, I'm gonna say it anyway. I make the orders as to go if it's a customized order. Once I get them dinero, once I get the money, then when I get the money, then I make the product. Hmm. Once I get the money, then I make your
Yeah.
product. Cause you ain't about to have me wasting my damn and then you
Right.
want to deliver it to, and then you act like you not home or you can't give me your address, and I'm or about to ship it out. You got your address incorrect. Like, okay, you incorrect. You improperly input your address. Either you did or the people at the post office. Then I'm calling you, texting you. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna take it as a donation. That's happened so many times, and I really, really be trying to get the
Lesson
product out
learned.
there. Yeah, I really, really
I had
trying
to
to
learn
get the
it the
product.
hard way, but I definitely learned it.
Then they come hit me up like 3 weeks later, like, yeah, I never received my order. I'm like, who is this? Oh, you who kept sending me the voicemail like 1,000 times? I've texted and I called you for my personal and my business number. Okay.
They always act like, oh, I missed your call. Okay, that's why I do emails and I do consultations because that just nips all of that excuse of miscommunication out. Like, we're not
I've
even gonna
sent an
do that.
email
Did you set
too.
up a consultation with me?
You get a shipping confirmation as well. As soon as you place an order, you automatically get a shipping confirmation. And then on my website, if you really want to get in contact with me, contact me. But you would have
Hmm.
seen the messages that you've missed from me. Anywho, whatever.
Yeah.
I ain't
Let's
wasting
get
no
into
more
the
time.
labeling of the land.
Yeah, let's get into label the glands, honey.
So these past few podcast episodes have been really dope because we've really been getting into like the lineage of our people, starting at like Inky and then Lil, right? And that's been
Hmm.
pretty cool. Talking about the gods to the Anunnakis and making our way to the Bible and talking about the lineage of Noah and Abraham and everybody in between. We made our way all the way down to the Assyrian Empire, right? And then we went from Moors to niggas, and we talked about, the concept of race and who created race and how it was created in 1775, a few months before America was born, because that's literally what America was built on, the concept of racial separations. They separated the tribes, they separated people by skin tones, they separated the slaves because there were white slaves, but they separated them. They separated the poor, from skin color. And it was a scientist, what was his name? Bombach or some stupid shit. He started studying skulls, and from studying skulls, he was able to divide race into like 5 main races and all that nut shit. And so that's how we went from Mobites to niggas, because America needed to be born and they had to justify some things in order for it to happen, knowing that the land belonged to the olive colored people, and then eventually they lightened up to copper colored people, and now they look like what's that politician that be claiming like 1% Native American? That one's my favorite.
Oh, the five
But
dollar
yeah, they
Indian, the $5 Indian nigga.
yeah, they not even $5 Indians, they pennies. The penny heads.
Mm.
What Demi Lovato, she claims being a Native American. Now we have these type of people claiming Native American heritage.
Demi
They actually look
Lovato.
like they actually look like they're from Yafet
What she
tribe.
doing?
And yeah, I mean, no judgment here. Our lineages are so mixed up because we all be procreating with each other and stuff. It's not super deep, but it's deep enough on a national level for y'all not to be taking land from the Aboriginals. Like, we really got Romans invading our land. And the more I learn about the history of this country, the more it feels like we're under Roman Empire right now. Like, the fact that we're even celebrating, well, not we, yeah, yeah, celebrating New Year's on January 1st. January 1st, this is because of the Roman Empire. Janus is the Roman god of beginnings. This was a two-faced beast. So we're talking about paganism here for all my Christians that like to go to church on January 1st. You're still going to hell. Um, you're still celebrating paganism. I don't care, because our New Year's is actually on the equinox, the vernal equinox, and it's celebrated for 11 days. And that's when we celebrate agriculture and barley and, crowning the
Yes.
new king and all that.
Even
Today we
that
call
all
it
comes from
Aries.
Sumerian history, back 2000
Exactly.
BC. Yeah, with the spring
10,000 BC.
equinox.
Since 10,500 BC.
Yeah, because they would go with the seasons. They
Yes.
they go off their calendar, their calendar year with the seasons and stuff. Yeah, you're right about that. March 25th, to
Hmm.
be exact, is when the new year starts.
Absolutely. So
Mm,
I don't acknowledge this day at all. I will see y'all March 25th for the it's not even called Aries, because to even say Aries, you're still giving life to their paganism and their rituals and their witchcraft. And it's so crazy how the Roman Empire, then turned into the Roman Catholic, church, which is still an empire. They just disguised themselves under the Bible, and
right,
they keep their paganism in the Bible, and they keep their paganism within the empire, but then they turned around and turned the energy of the Sumerians into witchcraft, and that's not what it is. The traditions and the mindset and the culture of the Sumerians was in alignment with nature,
right.
which is, Allah or God or the supreme being or whoever you want to call it, but that's what it is. So, got a lot of like screws mixed up here. We really got to get a better focal point on that.
Who allowed for these dusty ass Romans to take over like that and just do what the hell they want to do with everything?
I don't know. They banded together and they just was out here beating asses. sound like. But I don't even think they, it's kind of like that manifest destiny type thing where they make it seem like they really rule stuff, but they convince so many generations that they were in rule. By the time you get to this, super feminine, not feminine, but super soft generation that we're at now, like people are really convinced that,
It was
we're being
manifest
ruled,
destiny. This
we
land was
keep
our
getting
land to take.
they make
Because
it
we
seem
said
like they kill
so.
all of us. They never killed
We
all
just
of
made up
us.
some shit and just manifest destiny.
How'd
Oh,
they
okay.
kill
So y'all
everybody if
manifested
we
this as
still
a
here?
whole. They didn't. They couldn't. You
They
can't.
didn't. They
You were
didn't.
always
And you're not gonna sit
outnumbered.
here and make it about the African slave trade and stuff. Like there are some people that came from Africa and made it here, on a boat. Like that's cool because the ocean ain't as wasn't as vast back then as it is now,
Mhm.
and they had like little land pieces in between, that probably are still out there. That probably helped along the way. At the same token, it's just like you're not going to sit here and convince me that the majority, that 100% of the quote unquote African Americans, I hate that title because we're not African. But you're not going to tell me 100% came from Africa. Like
All of
we're
us,
not going to do
sis.
that.
Even you.
Especially if we were at war. That's the thing. We
Yeah.
were at war. Not like the racist vibes of enslavement didn't start till 1775, and it wasn't even enforced the entire time from 1775 to what, like 1880 something. There was periods of time in between time it was deemed illegal. Tribes were fighting back. They were getting killed. There were still
Hmm.
tribes out here with slaves and stuff like that. Like you're not. No, we're we're not. We're gonna use our critical thinking skills, especially like think about you and your personality. You know who
Hmm.
you are, and you've been here before, and that even if it wasn't you, you came from a lineage of you and your energy. Do you really believe your lineage was with the shits? Come on now.
Nah. And you remember when when we tell these when we think back on their history or whatever from those stories about some of our ancestors or what have you being enslaved and shit like that. I'm like, yeah, I would have been dead because I would have been dead, or somebody would have been
Yeah.
dead because I'm not complying with that shit at all. I don't even work on the fucking job too damn long without me damn quitting bucking on their ass on some shit. You think I'll be working out there in the damn field and shit? You think I would have poisoned? I probably would have been in the kitchen. You think I would have poisoned somebody? Huh?
hmm And that's
Those are
another
stories they
thing
won't
too. Like,
tell. Those stories they won't tell because I
yeah,
know my
exactly. I was about to say that. Those are the stories they
I know
won't
they
tell. They
have.
won't tell you about Nancy and the Maroons. They're not going to tell you about the Dahomey tribe. In fact, they tried to tell you about the Dahomey tribe. They turned it into a
Mhm.
Disney movie that nobody wants to watch. They put this shit in Avatar and King Adam, or what's his name, Black Adam, and
Black Adam.
uh,
Mhm.
Black Panther and all that. They put all this stuff
Yeah,
in these little Disney movies and these Marvel movies so that you think it's mythology when people
and
would
it
never
happened
rebel and fight back
only
and
back
blah
at
blah blah
that
blah blah.
time where people were barbarians, right? Mhm.
hmm
Yeah, it happened only
Now
in
they
that
got
time.
the
It never happened in
Moors
those
being
times.
little bodies from Maleficent and stuff. If you type in Moors, the Maleficent movie pops up, and it's the little
Yeah.
characters in that Disney movie. Like these people know
Oh,
what they doing.
speaking of my Maleficent movie, let's visit that for a moment because you remember on the first one, they didn't have not one goddamn more in that whole movie. They spoke of them, but you didn't see
hmm
not one fucking more. Not one more,
mm
or not even one more ish person in that movie. And
Crazy.
they were real people though. They were real people. They existed then, and they were in
hmm
England, yes, in that time, ruling. Okay.
Yep.
But they had to have, her help the Moorish, which I thought that was funny. They had to help her help the Moors or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, she had to
Madness.
protect the Moors.
Madness.
Hmm. And they didn't even put the Moor. They didn't even put a Moorish person in there. What is she sniffing around for out there?
And then yeah, that's just fucking density. They just be like muddying up all the Google search results. But yeah, so we talked about all of that, and then we talked about how the sun cycle and the moon cycle, is every six
Mm-hmm.
thousand years, and we're actually 23 2 years into the sun cycle, which makes sense as far as, people peace, as far as people starting to be more in, oh, I don't know what word to use, starting to realize more all
Become more
the
aware.
moon holidays, all the different, think the pagan stuff from the moon people, the Lunar New Year, and all that stuff. People are starting to real talk about that and unravel that, unpack that, and compartmentalize it accordingly, and that's cool. We're starting to move more into like the sun stuff. You see all the stuff happening with the weather, the winter time being a
Mm-hmm.
little shorter, and you know, we're moving into our sun cycle, and I love it here. Gang, gang. You have
Yeah.
the second star coming, sitting by the sun. We got a little binary star system popping off now. People starting to realize that, the cosmic map isn't just a cosmic map of the sky, but it's also of the lands. That means that there's lands that are being hidden from us, and that's a whole nother thing. That was a whole nother rabbit hole that we'll actually get into once we get into flat Earth versus round Earth, and we can actually get into it this episode a little bit too, because I actually got a couple of maps. I really like this one. This one is my favorite, because this is what I think of when I think about Earth, like little floating dust nugget. If we like, I guess, talk about like what all the other like celestial bodies in space look like and what they were like, especially like little comets and stuff like that. They kind of were surrounded by ice, and we have a nice little thick ice wall around us. There's actually a book out. Yeah, I shared that link with you. What was the name of that book? Beyond the Ice Walls or something like that.
Beyond the ice walls, or the land of Mars. The planets, there's the
Yeah.
lands of Mars and the 178 worlds.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yep. And that made me
Do we have any
kind of like this one even more.
references to those we can share
I want to say
with our
so.
people? Do we have any? Oh my gosh.
I think I did grab a map from somewhere. I want to say I probably forgot to upload some of the maps that I sent you. I'm
It's
not gonna
cool.
lie.
I have oh, is it possible we could play the TikTok video that we see? Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, we could definitely do that. Hold up.
Yeah, they got different names for it. They got Land of Mars, Ancient Mars map, 178 worlds book. It says PDF. Let's see if I'm able to download it. If I could download it, that would be so awesome.
So initially speaking,
Mm-hmm.
as far as the maps go and stuff like that, they were, well, with the Roman Empire, of course, with the stinking funky Romans,
Mm-hmm.
their borders were used as administrative things like commerce and trade and all that stuff up until the early 17th century. And then the regions were divided by natural landmarks. Like if there was a river or a mountain or a desert, instead of having like invisible lines, they would use like the natural stuff. Now, Great Britain doesn't really have anything like that. So what they did was they built a wall there. So that was the only space that really like had a wall. In sub-Saharan Africa, they didn't really use borders. And that's how it was in like South America, Australia, the places where they had like the native the native Aboriginal tribes at North America as well when they were still tribal. It wasn't necessarily borders because they recognized the fact that tribes were nomadic. So if the weather
Mm-hmm.
called for it, or
Right.
resources were getting depleted, or people were getting sick, or whatever was going on, they had the right to be nomadic. It was just kind of like stay away from the other tribes if y'all don't get along kind of vibe. And they were aware. They did have maps of their land. The earliest map that was found was a map that the Sumerians created in a clay tablet. While I try to pull up that video, I can definitely pull up that slide here. I think I passed it already.
Yeah, it was more so whoever could wants to come over here can come over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our land is open to everyone.
Yeah, it was open to everybody because it was like this
Hmm.
is everybody's land. Like, God gave us this land. It's not for you to keep and say, "Oh, this is mine. You can't be here." Like they wasn't on that type time. Here it is. This
Yeah,
was the
and that's why it
earliest
was
moment.
invaded so many freaking times and shit. That's why the other people who like borders and shit like that and like division and like this claim shit that's not theirs.
The Roman Empire.
Exactly.
That's
Like
now
to come and
America.
invade those lands. Yeah.
One day it's gonna come out that we really under the Roman Empire. People gonna be so sick, and I'm like, I
Still under it, right?
still under it. They didn't go nowhere. They just changed
Even
face so
after
that we,
Hannibal had defeated them.
yeah.
Hmm.
All they did was change face so that we wouldn't know, because they still got to write about themselves in the history. That's how the ego works. Like, oh no, y'all still gonna read about this great divine empire and all that. Don't get it twisted. But like, we're gonna separate ourselves from it so you don't know it's us that's over here still governed over you. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's my little conspiracy theory.
I mean, it's very much true because shit. Look at the fucking lingo of fucking medical terms and shit. You know, a lot of terminology Latin,
Mhm.
a lot of shit based out of fucking Romans and their Latin fucking dialect. Fucking yeah, it's we still use Latin today, a lot of shit. So, ingredients or whatever you look at ingredients, those are fucking Latin words, Latin terms, medical terms, all that shit. Mm.
Oh,
The Romans came out with it
and
first.
then they have these statements. We're always giving life to their gods whenever we talk about the days of the week, the months of the year, all these
Mm-hmm.
holidays we celebrate. We swear up and down, oh,
Mm-hmm.
this is a Hallmark holiday. This is an American holiday. It's not. These are actually Roman holidays. You're literally giving life to the Roman gods, and that is paganism and it's also witchcraft. So, what the Romans did initially, which is also proves my point as to why I think we're still under the Roman Empire, is the fact that the Romans went from it being the Roman Empire to now it's a Roman Catholic Church. So they showed you the in between step from getting from Romans to the Roman Catholic Church, and now it's Christianity. And Christianity is literally the same thing as the Roman Empire. We're literally doing the same exact shit. We're communicating about the same things. We're utilizing the same vernacular. It's the same
Mm-hmm.
mentality, same social structure, And then
Mm-hmm.
when you do the research, when you compare the government and the different activities and stuff that they got and how they did things and stuff, is exactly how what goes on today in our in our nation. And also, so when I was doing the Seeds of Sun podcast, I had did a little research or whatever, prior to the episode. Um, and then I was also camel walking with the stuff that we did about the solstice, a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, getting into Saturnalia, Saturn, that's also a
Mm-hmm.
Roman god. Even when we talk about our zodiacs and we try to get into ourselves spiritually speaking,
A lot
we're
of it is
still
about
giving
the
life to
spiritual
Roman
gods.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, so Saturnalia, during this entire month, the slaves were free. And it's like, tis the season. That's the generosity, that's the luck. You get to free the slave for a whole month, let them be a part of the festivities. The businesses and schools are closed for a few days. And, when I look into who were the slaves of the Romans, it wasn't necessarily a color thing at that time because they weren't implementing race to the level that they, decided to implement it today, to
Mm-hmm.
create this division we're in today. But they did have like their slaves were employment. And I was talking to Roxy about that. I'm like, that further, solidifies, juju music for the gentrifiers that I wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you guys listen, I played that song before the show even started, I talk about, slavery is now posters for hire because okay, because in the Roman Empire, like their slaves were physicians, they were doctors, they were lawyers, they were teachers, they were astrologers, they were, geographers,
Priest.
Yeah, they were priests. Like
Mm-hmm. All
that
right.
that was enslavement. That was enslavement.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was that transition from Rome to the Roman Empire, to the Roman Catholic Church to Christianity, and now you're going from like, okay, this is full out slavery to now we're going to call it employment, and we're going to give you these useless pieces of paper that you can't build a house with, you can't eat it, you can't do anything with it, but you can use it to trade for those things. And now we live in a society where it seems like you never have enough of those pieces of paper to adequately make those trades in sound mind, because it always seems like the expenses are higher than the income. It doesn't matter what state you go to. You could say, oh, the houses down here are only $600 a month. Okay, but you're only making $9 an hour. And you can
Right.
go up to New York and be like, oh, I got a job that's paying $25 an hour. Okay, but the rent is $2,800 a month. It's intentionally designed like that. So you're always on edge.
Yes, it
That's
is.
that's enslavement.
Mm-hmm.
That is literally enslavement.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want to look at it as physical enslavement, okay, I get it, because we've been fed all of these images of roots and, rosewood and stuff like that. I understand you don't want to look at it like physical enslavement. It's still mental enslavement, though. Even in this entrepreneur culture that we have walked into, we're still under mental enslavement, because you got these
Mm-hmm.
slave drivers. I don't know if you guys remember the term slave drivers, but those were the ones that were telling the other slaves, hey, you got to pick harder. You got to do this harder, do that better. Da, da, da. That's what we have now on Facebook and Instagram. They're called
Millionaires
influencers.
don't sleep.
Yes, you gotta have 5 LLCs. You gotta have,
Mm-hmm.
Forex, all this. And it is giving people anxiety because people don't feel like they're doing enough fast enough. As much as I love the Grace Moores, Derek Grace, I'm kind of disgusted by him a bit, because it's like you really made people feel like everything that you had to offer them, they had to get it now, or the revelation was coming and they were going to get it. I don't, and it's not just him. I'm just calling him now out because that was the first name that came to my mind. It's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurs or quote unquote influencers that do that. They'll come and they'll make you feel like if you don't invest in this right now, the what is it called? I forget what the fuck it's called, but like everybody's gonna die and you're gonna die with them because you didn't invest in their product or their service that's educating you on how to develop 5 LLCs and do Forex and da, and then they end up not giving you the product that you paid for. So you spent all of this money just to purchase a product, and they're not even giving it to you. And then when you're trying to communicate with them, it's like whatever, just keep working. That's slave driver. That's what a slave driver does.
Oh yeah, the gatekeeping a lot and shit too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You can
that's
buy more
mental
into this
enslavement.
course. You can buy the master course for $999.99 for a limited time only. It's only a sale. It's only lasting till tomorrow. We only got 5 slots left for it. We only got 5 of this product available. Like,
Exactly.
are you fucking kidding me? Who?
And that's so
If somebody
irresponsible.
has a band to
It's
just
so
waste on a fucking
irresponsible.
master class like that, God bless them because they got it. I ain't got no bread like that. I don't even have the bread like that when I had the bread like that. Okay.
But you shouldn't make nobody feel like they should have the bread like that. Unity is key. If your goal is not unity, you are not moving righteously. If your goal is the
Give the
bad,
knowledge to
come
everybody.
on now.
Give the
You
knowledge
can't
for
eat
free.
money. You can't build a house with money. Money has no value. Once upon a time, when
None.
these colonists came on our land with them little dusty pieces of paper, there wasn't nobody buying that shit. People were lighting it up on fire and laughing at them. That's the lineage we come from.
It's a
They looked at
middleman
their
it's a
money and
damn
laughed.
tool.
Hmm.
It's a
And now
middleman tool.
it really is, and we don't need the middleman. We are the gods. How can we sit here and say I'm a god, you a god, but we need this money that this man made that they're trying to oppress us with? Like, this is our land. That's literally the first line of Juju music. This is our land. We were here first. They came on a boat, and they'll leave here in a hearse. It is not the other way around. We
Right.
don't die. We don't die. And I don't think people understand. We don't die. Energy is here, so your little piece of paper is so asinine. And they know it's asinine. That's why they're always trying to revamp it. That's why they're always trying to add perks to it. Now you got the income tax. Now you got the credit. Now you got business credit. Now you can play with your strong man. Now you can do IRS bonds. Now you can do this, do that. Now you can, build a bunch of business. Now you can get into Forex. Now you can convert to cryptocurrencies. Now you got all these online,
You know, all this
money
shit for a piece
programs.
of paper that you could do for free though. It don't take nothing.
Yeah,
It don't take nothing to trade a resource, because all it is just you're using it for a resource that you need. It don't
that's all it is.
it don't take nothing. It don't take it don't take no money if you want to give me information freely. It don't take no money if I want to choose to give you information. Because mainly this is what it is how much power you have using the currency
Hmm.
though in order to get access to
I can go
information.
outside and eat right now for free. God
Yeah.
planted everything that I need in my body. I can go outside and eat
Mm-hmm.
right now. I could go find some corn, acorns. I could find some nuts outside. There's some dandelions out there. Like I could find what I need outside right now and eat. And I didn't have to
Mm-hmm.
go on nobody's Domino's and have 5 for the 55. I didn't have to go inside of fucking Applebee's and get the 2 for 20. I didn't have to do none of that. I went outside for free.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the mindset that we used to have. And I don't know what happened. Like everybody want to be vegan, but then they want to pay $100, $200 at Trader Joe's to be vegan. Why? God gave us the ability to be vegan for free.
For quick
Like, what the
meals, I
hell? What are
guess.
we
'Cause
doing?
what is all that Trader Joe's that's so special to have high price
I ain't gonna hold you.
plant-based
The
meals?
mac and cheese balls is top
Oh, the
man.
mac
They
and
have really
cheese
good mac and
balls.
cheese balls.
You probably
Yes,
could make
and the
your own
mozzarella
mac and
stick.
cheese balls, and you make your
Oh
own
yeah,
mozzarella
I
sticks.
could do
Ain't
that.
nothing, but I guess it's convenience, though. It is convenience. It is the
It is
convenience of
convenience, and
someone
that's
else
the
doing it.
problem. Our
And
people have
yeah,
gotten lazy. They're lazy, and they love the convenience. Like everybody want to fight evil, but then everybody want to sit in the spoils that the evildoers provide. You got to pick a
well,
team. There's sacrifice that comes with fighting evil.
I want to say, like, some people are lazy, and then there's some people who just really don't have that time to do it. You know what I'm saying? Or the
Why?
skills.
What they spending
It
their
takes
time
skills to cook.
doing?
Yeah, they might spend a lot of their time like working, you know what I'm saying? And then by the time they
Exactly.
get off of work, 12-hour shift, for example, like how I used to do, then they got to come home, kids or whatever, you know what I'm saying, for a few hours, only a few hours with your family now. And then you got to find time to sleep to get back
Exactly.
up the next damn day and do that shit. So yeah, you might not even have
That's not healthy.
not have time to cook, don't feel like cooking, you know what I'm saying? And now you got to pay
Exactly. Everybody wants to go
someone
to heaven,
else's
but nobody wants to
major
die.
corporation for that convenience of having some already prepared shit. Because on the weekend, what we want to
Right.
do, just chill the whole weekend. We want to chill.
Yeah. You just want to
We
chill
want
the
to chill,
whole
try to catch up on
weekend,
rest. Try to
catch up on rest so you can go
catch
back to work.
up on rest. Mm-hmm.
So you can go back
Yeah.
to work. It's all about work.
That's
You
how
do
it is.
everything because you work.
Versus,
That's
versus,
enslavement. That's enslavement.
yep, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You literally
Versus
evolve.
if you
Your
just work for
parenting is
yourself.
evolved around working. Your fun is
Yeah.
evolved around working. Your pride and your
Mm-hmm.
ego is evolved around working. How you feel about
Mm-hmm.
yourself, how you feel about other people is evolved around their working or you're working around them. Everything is evolved around enslavement. We have literally been mentally conditioned to evolve our entire lives around our enslavement,
And when
and
you
we're
are the
proud of
best
it.
slave for
And
that
then
month,
that's
you
our
get
excuse to
employee of the month.
exactly.
You get a piece of
And
paper
that's literally
that
our
shows how
excuse not to
valuable
be
you are to
righteous.
the
I
company.
can't be righteous because I
Mm-hmm.
gotta go to work. What are you going to work
Mm-hmm.
for? For the money. I just told you you don't need the money. So why is that an excuse?
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
are
Mm-hmm.
acting like the Romans because they are the Romans because we're under the Roman Empire. We are
Even
slaves.
Roman
And the more
terminology is on our papers.
yes,
it's on the money.
that's the
Along with
concept
some
of our
stolen
laws.
other shit. Yeah. Yeah.
Our laws are under the Roman Empire. They stole the laws from the Romans and the Greeks.
Mm-hmm.
This whole lifestyle. But it's like everybody want to scream, "Oh, Jesus, Jesus, Christianity." No, you're not righteous. You're not right. You're playing. You're playing both sides. And even in the Bible, they say you cannot honor two masters. You gotta pick a team. And that you ain't saying nothing but a word. You how could I homeschool my children? And this is not to frown upon anybody, because I understand everybody's in their own speed of their walk. But how could I successfully homeschool my children, grow my own food, do all this stuff, and still be a slave? I can't. I have to pick a master. Who's my master?
Right.
Is it going to be Allah,
Right.
or is it going to be the Roman God? I pick
Yeah.
Allah, bro, because like Allah is giving me food, medicine that doesn't have adverse reactions. I'm not getting cancer. I'm not getting, allergies. I get everything I need. Whereas with these Romans, it's like it's never enough. You're never going to have enough. You're always going to be tired. You're never going to have enough. And it's always going to seem like somebody else is above you doing better than you. Why? Because they intentionally put these people in your space to say, look at what I got, because I worked more hours than you, because I went to school and I worked even harder, and I had 2 jobs, and I went to school full time, and I had a baby on my. They literally put these people on your path as
Yeah.
those are slave drivers.
Yeah.
They're telling you to stay in enslavement, because that could be your story too. And then one day you could be on this big ass boat that's not even their boat. They're just taking a picture in front of it. Like, it's so fucking fake. It's just marketing. It's not even real.
Yeah. You get caught up with the illusions.
Yes.
Easily.
The best slave is definitely the one who doesn't know they're a slave. Absolutely. That's the best slave. And they intentionally keep a lot of people, their mindset is first of all, they don't know they're aboriginals. They don't know what their culture is. So they're reaching for any sense of culture. Anybody else that looks black like them, oh, I must be African. Or now they got this 23andMe DNA shit. Bro, that DNA shit is so racist, because how dare you, and we're going to get into the maps. We're going to get to the maps. But how dare you give me map borders that were created in the 20th century? And we did our research. The majority of these borders were not created until the 20th century. So how dare you have me take my DNA for you to tell me I'm from these fucking 20th century borders? That's not telling me where I'm from. If we tribal, that's not telling me who my people are. I'm related to all of y'all. We literally did the lineage, like 2 Saturdays ago? We're all related. So, yeah, of course I'm going to be from Cameroon. Like, of course I'm going to be from Benin. Of course I'm going to be from America, and fucking Asia and Europe.
You talking about the freaking ancestry shit.com?
Yeah. There's actually there's a Moor out here. I think there's a Moor that has their own, and they be selling that shit so hard, and that shit make my blood boil. Cause who are you?
I literally went on ancestry.com, got the free trial because I wasn't gonna pay for shit. I wasn't gonna pay for $54 to research my people's records. I came across my great great grandmother and my great great grandfather. Now their last names were Green or whatever, right? So when I look back, try to look for his dad, I found his mom. I couldn't find his dad, but I found his mother's grandfather. He was Cherokee. It just pulled up something about some Cherokee records that ain't had nothing left behind that. And this was back in the 18 something. In about 18, I'm gonna say about 1860, maybe 1850 something. And everything else wiped out. Now I paid attention a lot to what they said what your race was. Because mind you, the only people who were taking the census were white folks. Okay. You ain't had no niggas taking the census, all right? It was only white folks taking the census. All right. And a lot of times back then, guess what? Only white people could read and write, right? Okay. So they got this occupation taking the census. And okay, so some part in the 19th century, you were mulatto, if you were like your complexion, right? Or you were Negro. Okay. They were so nice to put Negro and not nigga. I thought. I was like, okay, they're proper. Then after those few decades, they stopped putting the mulatto on there. So now they're not separating the light skins for the darkies anymore, right? They're blending them all together. Now all of them are black. Okay. And then soon later,
Mhm.
African American. So you went from being an Indian, okay, native or whatever, or indigenous, to
We actually went
mulatto
from
if you
Moors
were a
to
skin
Indians.
color.
We were Moors before we were Indians. When
Okay, yeah.
there's this
But they
book
never
that I
they
have.
don't
It's
have
called
that in
A
my records
People's
though.
History of the
Hmm.
United States. And
Right.
in that book, when they came on this
Hmm.
land, they knew it was
Hmm.
Moors on this land, and they literally called the women Morenos and Morenas.
Yeah.
And they, of course, they were writing in Spanish, but they were
Right.
calling us Moors in the book. And then somehow we went
Hmm.
from Moors to Indians.
Hmm. Then
And
from
then they want to
Indians to
sell us this
mulattoes and
dumbass
Negro.
story about he thought he was in India. Bro, we've been okay, let's talk about the maps real quick. The maps in the
Yeah.
12th century AD, the
Hmm.
Muslims, yeah, they were creating maps. It was called Al Idrisi was a cartographer. He was hired by Norman King Rogue II to make a geography book. And in his geography book,
Hmm.
the south is north. For some reason, the Islamic Empire always put the south as north, but we talked about that before. We said that actually felt more fitting for the south to be north. Um, but by 1154 BCE, we're not even talking about AD. We're talking about BCE. 1154 BCE, there was a compilation of 70 maps by the Islamic Empire. So to sit here and say a motherfucker thought he was in Europe in 1492 when we already had hella maps in 1154 BCE, come on, stop playing with me. You knew where you were. You knew exactly where you were, and you knew who lived there because we were already doing commerce. You're
He
playing.
was talking to his boy Amerigo Vespucci. How the fuck how you ain't heard of that? Because he the one who so
Exactly.
called named America. Okay,
They
so
gave that nigga the whole Western Hemisphere. He fucked the
boy,
maps up so good on us. They gave
boy,
him the
all
whole
this shit right
Western
here is America, my
Hemisphere
nigga.
and called
I
it
explored this
America.
shit first. It's named after me. Okay,
Man, so
Vespucci.
Romeo Carter is in the comments. Let's read some of his comments. He said, influencers are the new whip crackers, definitely. This world is a
Mhm.
mental health hospital, most definitely. Uplift fallen humanity. Ali is from ATL. And oh yeah, he said you might be his friend's cousin because he's a green too. And he just found out he got Jewish relatives. He got Jew relatives from like
Jew
the
or Jewish.
Judaism or
Mhm.
Jewish, because we learned
Mhm.
last Saturday them two different things. And then history
Yeah.
has been tainted in all lives. Oh yeah, because we're under the Roman Empire, and the Roman Empire
Mhm.
has had many centuries to play with stuff. And honestly, they didn't have that many centuries. When you do the math, they keep telling. Oh, he said
They didn't.
Jewish. He meant what he said.
Oh,
If you go
Jewish means
on,
like you
if
kind
you
of
go
like a
on
Jew, but not a
YouTube,
Jew.
right? If you go on Virgo Virgin Talk on YouTube, that's our page. The name is actually Virgo's L. That's
You know
where
what's
we
this?
live at.
Kind of look for our page too, and I was having a hard time, but I was like, maybe it is just Virgo's L. I'm typing in Virgo Virgin Talk
Yeah.
so many times. Okay.
No, it is Virgo Virgin Talk. But when you get to the, you know how they have an at now on there?
Yeah. Virgo's L.
So
Okay.
yeah, that's Virgo's L.
Okay. Because when you type in Virgo Virgin Talk, I think
It's two pages that pop up.
it's 2 pages. Yeah. The one that we're
Hmm.
live on is now. These are the uploaded videos from the previous season
Yeah,
on the Virgo Virgin Talk.
that
I
was
gotcha.
in under Virgo's L.
Okay.
Yep.
Virgo's L then.
But yeah, the Roman Empire, they knew to burn all the books. Like, oh, now all of a sudden a lot of the maps and all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff. Oh, peace. Now all of a sudden all the maps and everything is all destroyed and stuff. A bunch of books went missing, and they not missing. They in
Mm-hmm.
the Vatican. They underground and all them tunnels y'all got because we know y'all niggas came from underground. We know that there's land under the land that's under land. Like, come on now, stop playing. Took all our stuff and put it in your the caves of Canaan. And that's cool. It's gonna come out though.
In the Caucasus Mountains, the mountains of
In the
Caucasus.
Caucasus Mountains. But hold on, let's see if the sound works on this video for me because
Okay.
see what happens sometimes is
Where is it at? Where is it at? There's Anunnaki land. So you know why we so close with the Anunnaki? You always hear about them. They right next door. But I'm looking for another place, family. Lands of angels. Land of Vega. Look at this, family. Look at this. It's the map of where we live. The Terror Dome. There's Nibiru, Marduk, land of Zeus, which is Jupiter. That's what I thought it was. The custodians. Lands of Orion. They're on Orion's belt. I'm kind of wondering, I kind of think this is where the Most High's home is. It's got the purple around it. Purple is color of royalty.
The lands of Orion. That's interesting.
Mhm.
That's where we are. Earth. So-called Earth.
And I find that
So
interesting
wasn't the
because when you
Shaggy's from Orion?
Where is it at?
exactly,
Where is it at?
yep, you read my mind.
Mm-hmm.
When we got into the history of Inky and the Lil and the Anunnakis, they got into the Shaggies from the Orion Belt and all that stuff. And that just gets into there was this YouTube video I found where my man was talking about the astrological stars and how the
Mm-hmm.
constellations actually are reflected down here on land, and they really was just using those astrology maps to show themselves where they were walking to down here. And that makes sense. As above so is below. That's not a science that we're unfamiliar with at all. So that would makes so much sense to me, because if the cosmos are inside of your body, why wouldn't they be parts of the lands as well?
Right.
Like it's this idea that we keep separating ourselves. We've been taught to separate ourselves so much. Like when you read Metu Neter Volume 1, they talk about the 10 spheres of life, the tree of life. And the eighth sphere, they specifically said the eighth sphere deals with Virgo energy, which is a vibe,
Mm-hmm.
because we Virgos. But the
Right.
eighth sphere is in alignment with Sebek, and that's about labeling, separating, putting things in the compartments. That's when you start doing classism and classifications of like animals and plants and stuff like that. And what's
Right.
important? It's important to know the difference between a dog and a cat, or a mushroom
Right.
from a dandelion. It's important to know that shit.
Right.
But that's also where man's ill lies. That's where we're very much blocked, and that's being played on.
Yeah, we're
We
not
have been
supposed to be
taught to
there.
separate ourselves so much. We separate ourselves from our culture. We've separated ourselves from our history. We separate ourselves from
Mm-hmm.
our land. We separate ourselves from the
Mm-hmm.
cosmos. We separate ourselves from
Mm-hmm.
spirituality, from
Mm-hmm.
astrology, astronomy, from alien, cultures, to think that we the only humans here, and it,
From men,
Earth
from
doesn't look.
women,
Yeah, like it's just
from
so much
older women
separation
to
going
younger
on.
women to older men to younger men. We don't have a connection. And why is there a disconnect? Why is there
We've
so
been
much a
taught to
disconnect
disconnect.
with the younger
We've really
women
been
and
taught
the
to
older
disconnect.
women?
Yeah,
Like
that makes me sad.
the life lessons that older women used to hand down and teach to our younger women,
They don't
just any
anymore.
woman now. It's like a secret
Everybody's
society
grandma
now.
wants to go out. Everybody's listening. Grandmoms is listening to Meg and Cardi B too. We talked about this, the masculine women. The grandmothers is masculine. They're masculine now. So now the mothers are
I
masculine.
I had a privilege of, when I was coming up as a very young lady, that I had a lot of older friends who were women. They were grandmothers, or they were you know, mothers to grown children. And I was honored to have that, because they taught me a lot, and they took me under their wing, either as a daughter or either as a friend. And I
Hmm.
just thank you. I just feel like younger women can learn so much from a woman who had an older woman who has a lot of knowledge or who lived through what we lived through. If you unable to talk to your mother, what I'm saying, at least get your,
Hmm.
you know, at least gain some knowledge or connect with an older woman, you know, and that's how it was in our tribes though. We had the elder women
Exactly.
teaching the younger women. Should they the elder men teaching the younger men, the young warrior men who were upcoming? They taught them a lot. They gave them a lot of wisdom.
You
We
got
just
to
have this
remember when the
disconnect
Roman
now.
we
Mm-hmm.
had the period of time where they claimed the Assyrians took over the 12 tribes of Judah, and then it turned
Mm-hmm.
into the Roman Empire. We still this
Mm-hmm.
12 tribes of Judah. We're still under that thumb. But with that came the enslavement. Our,
Mm-hmm.
you had the rough, the very, abusive, enslavement that we went under. So there was no time. We weren't allowed to teach our children. It was scary times. If I taught you anything, you surely was going to get hanged or raped, and everything happened in the middle of town, so everybody would know it. We even had to hide each other's real names. That's where basket names and nicknames came from. No nicknames like Boo Boo and June Bug, those are basket names, because I would ask you about a slave, but I didn't want people around me to know which slave I was talking about. So I would say, hey, yo, speaking in my, different dialect, like, what's up, is the boo boo, on the knee or on the
And
foot?
you really had to know who Boo Boo
And I'm
was. You know
asking
what I'm
you where
saying? There
you
was a
at.
lot of Boo Boo back then. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. But they was a little bit more intentional with it than we are now. Now, we just be passing out the same nicknames over and over again because we disconnected. We're disconnected from our history. We don't even know the details of how we used to connect with each other even during those times, because we so busy worried about what the white man was doing to us, instead of
You know,
really paying attention to how we were still connected so we could keep that connection going.
Boo Boo is actually
A
my
lot of that.
mother's nickname to me. It's funny how you called that out. Yeah, I was
Oh
a Boo
yeah,
Boo.
we actually opened the invitation. So yeah, so Romeo said y'all should have more people up here. We actually allow guests to come on the show. They just don't come on the show. So yeah, you're right. They're lost. They out here
Yeah,
acting like Romans.
yeah. We
But
we
we are
we
open to
have an
guests.
open mic for
Yeah,
whoever
we
wants
do
to come on
interviews
here.
up here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do all that. It's a tea talk convo. It just always be me and Danielle, so it's still fun though. We still have a great time. Next week,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, we'll have First on the stage and some other people that are well versed in privatization or dual citizenship. Because next Saturday's episode is called "The Pathway to Sovereignty," which we'll really be getting into the steps to, if you want to do stuff on paper to,
That's
get
next
off
week
the ship.
episode
Yeah,
already.
then come
Why I be acting
yeah.
like I don't be knowing this stuff? Because I was like, oh my gosh, the time is just
That's next
flying,
week.
sis. We already on our fifth episode. Today is our fifth episode.
Yeah, we're on the five. Five is a good number. Humanity. I love it here.
It's our fifth episode, but it's really our third episode, but it's a fifth episode all together still.
Hmm. Yep, I love it
Mm-hmm,
here.
mm-hmm.
And back to, and then like you had the ones that was getting slaved like hardcore, but then once they started having their children and we started being quote unquote free, now just like you said, people working 12-hour days and coming home. Could you imagine doing that from the time what people were getting jobs at like 14, 15, sometimes even younger than that, because there weren't no child labor laws. So you're working like that from the time you're like 13, 14, and you can't deny a job. Like, let's not do that. There's a reason why we are programmed now to feel like we can't live without a job, because once upon a time, if a white person knocked on your door and was like, yo, I heard you were a nurse and I need a nurse at my house, if you said no, your house was going to burn down. I was going to kill your kids and I'm a kid. You can't tell these Caucasians no. There's no such thing. If I needed you to come clean my house, you're going to come clean my house. If I need you to take care of my kids, you're going to come take care of my kids. Even though slavery is over, you still going to do what I say, because
Mm-hmm.
who gonna listen to you? What courthouse are you gonna go into? What police officer are you gonna talk to? You don't. And I'm
Also, because
lucky
you're
that I
tied
got to.
into what having to have the obligation of paying for where it's paying to live. You gotta pay rent. You gotta pay to keep your lights on. You
Yeah,
gotta pay to
right.
keep your gas on, keep food in your house, to buy clothes. Nobody is a
Mhm.
seamstress around. I don't know. I can't name 5 seamstress on my hand at
Surely
all.
can. I
I know
cannot.
I could probably put me something together pretty good, what I'm saying, if I go to Hobby Lobby and get some fabric or whatever and shit. But then,
Mhm.
yeah, I gotta support some. I gotta buy. Oh, they're so such bigots, Hobby Lobby. But I gotta buy their fabric and shit, and I gotta put this shit together to make my clothes. And then when do I have the time to buy clothes? I mean, to make clothes.
Right, because we're too busy working. We don't have time to grow our own food, make our own clothes, make our own medicine, learn the land, teach our children about a culture, or even create our own new culture since we're so fucking disconnected. We don't have time to do any of
We
that
don't
because
have the
we are
freedom.
distracted with work. We
We
don't
don't
have the
have the
freedom. You
freedom
have to go
anymore.
to work. And when you're
We
off
had
of
more
work,
of the
you're
freedom
tired.
once our ancestors had gotten out of slavery, and once they had established farming and shit, growing their own food,
Hmm. And you
tilling
know
their own
what
land,
happened? They
and
wasn't teaching their
the wife
kids
was
shit, and the
mhm,
kids sold the land. Everybody is selling their grandmom and grandpa's land. Why? Because they've been taught that the money is more
mhm,
important. Because why? Because they were farming for money instead of farming to feed their family. This money
mhm,
spell is so dusty. It's
mhm,
so dusty. It's so deep.
mhm.
Like they
I
made sure
always
they
said
beat the
for a
shit
long
out of
time,
us
like,
for
I
this
don't have to
money.
have money to live. You don't have to have money to live.
Yeah,
Everybody was like, "How you don't have to
you
have
don't.
money to live? You got to pay for this." I'm like, "Look, I ain't trying to pay for shit. I'm not.
You
I don't
don't
have
have
to
to.
pay for anything. I don't have to do shit but stay
If
black and
you
die, like Samuel Jackson said. Okay.
Exactly. You don't have
Um.
to. There's people outside right now that don't use money. And it's like we're not even and I know people like, "Oh, I got to have a house and stuff." First of all, these houses that we live in keep us sick too. We're not supposed to
Poisonous.
be in
Mm-hmm.
squares. The squares are bad. People usually put their furniture around the walls of the house. So you're sitting in the corners all the time. So that's where a lot of stagnant energy is. And then, like, you got all
Ooh.
this technology, Wi Fi, TVs. Roxy was talking earlier about the black screens. Once you turn your
Yeah.
technology off, you notice it's a black screen, right? Those are black
Right.
mirrors. So you got
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. So you're not even in a good environment.
Mm.
That's why when you in the house, you get sick until you go outside. Then you could breathe, or then this is okay, or that's okay. Like it just makes you sick. Like this not a
Yeah.
place for us. Not a place for us at
Yeah. You
all.
can't even walk around barefoot in your house for real. Everything, all the material and
No, you
shit they make
cannot.
your house out of is horrible. Yeah.
I do not walk in the
I'm-
house barefoot. I walk outside barefoot, but I will not walk in the house barefoot.
I walk in the house
It
barefoot.
says
I'm guilty
whoever
of that.
whoever loves money will sell you out sooner or later. Most likely, yeah, definitely. They'll either sell you out or they find a way to sell you. Just try to find a way to turn your energy into money.
Mm-hmm.
Money is a very deep spell that people cannot, a lot of people get angry. I've
And
had
it's
people
made
really
of
get angry
cotton
and start
too,
calling me
so
all
they're
kinds of
binded to
names.
it with
Yeah.
the post traumatic syndrome. Yeah, I
Hmm.
find myself under the money spell a lot because I'm like, yo, if I don't get none, I'll end up behind on some shit, or you know, I'll feel like I'm lacking, and I don't like feeling like that. I don't like feeling like that. So I guess the best way to solve that problem is you got to buy some land and build up on your shit and live out there off the land for free
I
if
totally
you
agree.
can. Live as
Now,
free as possible as you
what if
can.
instead of selling our grandparents' land all the fucking time, we actually decide to keep it and not use it for commercial farming, but to actually feed ourselves and our families?
Yeah, we could do that. We
I
could
know so many
absolutely
people
do
that's
that.
like, oh, I got an aunt that, or I got an uncle, or my grandfather got 200 acres, 300 acres. We don't know what to do. You don't know what to do with it? Are y'all for
Child,
real?
I'll show you what to do with it.
Please
I'll teach
stop
you how to
talking.
W
Stop
watch.
playing with yourself. Listen,
Like
I
for
wish
one,
I
you
had a
don't
family member
sell
that
it.
was like, yeah, I got like 20, 30 acres for you. Like, what? Thank you. Me and my family. and whoever
Yeah.
else want to come eat, come eat. But this is not for commercial use. Now, if I can go into town, go into market and sell some my surplus, selling surplus is cool. Put a couple
You
extra
know
coins
what?
in your pocket, do some extra shit cool. But
But even
outside of
once
that,
you get like
not commercial farming.
what's crazy is like once you get a contract and like being a farmer and shit like that too, they tell you what to grow. They tell you what to
Mhm.
grow and when you gotta grow it.
Mhm.
That's
You heard
why
about
when you
those
go
mass
to a country,
suicides with those farmers with Monsanto and shit? Like that shit's
mm,
dusty. More money shit.
mm.
That's
And then
so crazy.
they got the audacity to call 200 acres a small farm. That's what's crazy to me.
That's because they comparing it to commercial farming. You're not trying to feed all the shop rights where they throw most of that shit in the garbage anyway. They throw
Yo,
tons of food away a day.
I never see a commercial. I never seen an industrial farm ever. I have never seen one. I rode through all the countries of Georgia, Florida, and shit like that. I never see industrial fucking farm.
Hmm.
Never. It's always small business farmers or small farmers. Never. Where are all the industrial farms at? Who owns them?
It
You
seems
remember that
like a lot of
commercial?
stuff is genetically modified. So I would say like at this point, more stuff is being done inside of like a
In the lab
warehouse type of building. Yeah, in a
or in the
lab
lab?
or
Yeah.
like fake greenhouses than it is being done like outside, like a traditional type farm thing.
Yeah, I don't see any industrial farms at all. I've never seen one. I've
I see
only
like
farms I've ever
small
seen
farms
is
out here in Jersey.
mhm.
Those from the city don't know what to do with it. They don't. They don't. I be counting down the days to go to Arizona.
Yeah. Where are the industrial farms? And I bet you it's so dusty.
I'm
I
not
bet you the
celebrating New
industrial
Year's. I'm
farms are so
good.
dusty. Yeah, you ain't lying about all the holidays at night though. It ain't my
Yeah,
holidays,
with the
but you know.
moon. Yeah, I'm not celebrating this shit. um, Coming back to the maps, we talked about the Roman Empire. We talked about Sub-Saharan Africa, Middle East. The Middle East used warfare to expand their territories. China's Great Wall was created to separate the Chinese Han Dynasty from the Mongol tribes. And there was a desert between because the desert between the two was not enough. So, China was utilizing that too. And China also is another empire that uses a lunar calendar. They have the Lunar New Year and all that stuff. They also got moon people energy.
Yeah, theirs come a little later though. I think
Yeah, I got seeds in the freezer. I'm
February or
not
something
planting them
or
until I
what?
get to my land.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
When does the Chinese New Year start?
February 2nd.
Okay.
I did have a Chinese map somewhere. Hold up.
They're a little
It
closer,
was.
but they still miss it.
Hold up.
We gotta come downstairs because we said we can't climb up these stairs.
I'm not celebrating New Year's.
The new year.
It's not a New Year. No, it's not. I'm not messing with y'all. Uh, Hold up.
Erica says it is tradition to use a knife instead of a corkscrew.
It's hard to
I
get
know I
from
have
the
the first.
spells
There we go.
sometimes.
This
These
is the
spells are
first Chinese
hard.
unit.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, y'all good.
Okay,
Yeah,
look like a dragon. It look like 3 heads of a dragon. You see the two
This
heads of
is.
dragon on the left side, and then one dragon head over there on the right side. Upside down,
Oh,
though.
I
They
do see
upside
what
down.
you're talking about. Yeah, I see that.
You see it? One of them got a
Yeah.
patch on his eye. He got a black patch on his eye.
Oh, okay,
Well,
I
maybe
see the
the
little
second
circle.
one looked like a snake, actually. The second one looked like a snake. Mm-hmm.
Tiamat vibes. Oh, I see a
Mm-hmm.
little one over here on the other side too. Little mouth over here.
Oh, the one that's up there near
Little
the
pieces.
peninsula or something, or near a gulf or whatever it looks like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had notes on this map. So this map shows China as being the center, like a monolith type vibe. And this was the
Okay.
first map that had the tip of Africa into it because no other map had the tip of Africa yet. And
Okay.
it also has Japan in here, very small. But yeah, this was the first map of China, and it was put on silk. They so extra. You know, their first dollar was on deer buckskin, white deer buckskin. They were fancy with it. Had to be the white deer. But then they started running out of white deers to put it on.
So y'all bought them animals to damn near extinct?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, we got to stop making these.
Money trees is the perfect place to shade, and that's just how I feel. A dollar might have your deer extinct. That's just how I feel. I'm sorry, I like Kendrick Lamar to a certain extent.
I ain't mad. Anaximander from 610 to 546 BC created the first maps of the world. It rests.
Oh yes,
Okay, so
that's
I think
true.
I have that
Okay,
visual.
I have a little insert I want to put on that. So
Okay.
okay, remember when I was telling you earlier? I started out with Earth, right? Because I was like, well, let's go all the way back. How the fuck did the Earth get its name? You know what I'm saying? Somebody had to name the Earth.
Mhm.
That was like a really freaky picture right there, but I ain't gonna say it. Yeah, that looks like a lion. Wow. Okay. So I wanted to start out with like how the Earth got its name as our planet. You know what I'm saying? So, from what I researched, Earth's name came about in the 16th century. You know what I'm saying? Around 1500 something or whatever. Um,
Mhm.
Before then, the planet did not have a name. But the use of the word Earth as a name of a sphere. Okay, that's all
Go ahead.
Earth
I'm not particular.
was this name of the sphere. And then the planet's name in Latin, because Latin rules, of course, used during the Renaissance is the same as Terra Mater, okay, the Roman goddess, which translates into English as Mother Earth, okay. And
Mhm.
then, you have your symbolism, right? This is where we're gonna get into like where the shape of the earth come from or whatever. Should I save that for the next episode? I'm gonna give y'all a sneak peek, okay? So right here you have the globus cruciger or whatever the hell they call it. Can you see what I'm talking about? Girl, my handwriting's like chicken scratch. The little thingy right here looks like an upside down female symbol, right?
Oh yeah, that looks like upside down. I see it.
Exactly. The upside down. Oh yeah. But the popes or whoever part of the Vatican party or whatever, say they would have this thing in their hand or whatever that they held. And it's a symbol of authority. All right. So it was called, remember, the Globus Cruciger or Cruiser, whatever. All right. So it's shaped like a spear, like a globe or whatever. So this is how they started coming up with the fucking earth being shaped as a fucking globe. And that's all I'm going to say right there with that shit. All right. Talking about give a nigga an inch a mile. Give a nigga an inch. And a nigga taking it for a mile. And running with it. For that motherfucker been running with that shit for years. Yeah.
That's crazy. I'm like, did he stretch before he reached that way? I had seen something about. You remember how we used to use the map to make the longitude and latitude line?
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was a thing too. Okay, so um, Eratosthenes or whatever from 276 to 194 BC.
Mm-hmm.
He was looking to prove the Pythagorean theorem. So he used the sunlight that was going inside of wells, like the reflection in the time that it was happening, to prove that the earth was round. And then he came up with the parallels and the meridians to measure land separations. And it was helpful when people were traveling through water, but when they were traveling through the land, it was like they would get the land masses too soon or not soon enough. Like it just wasn't working. So after a while, they stopped using the parallels and meridians. But he low key just made that shit up.
Yeah, that didn't sound very educated at all. To figure out what the shape of a planet is. Oh, okay. It's
For
January
real.
1st. Okay, on the calendar year. All right, thank you. Thank you, me
The
too.
navigators
Happy
use
New Year
star
to you
charts
too.
and star maps to travel. Polaris was the main star that people used to travel. So the further south Polaris was, the further south you were moving in latitude. Um, and the prime meridian was the home base.
So, okay. Now you remember when you hear about the four corners of the earth from mainly from explorers or whatever and shit. And
Hmm.
now I often ask this, like, how you have four corners of a spear? Spear has no corners. The globe is a spear. The earth is a globe. A globe is a spear. Spear is the earth. Where you get four corners from? So the four corners symbolize Africa, America, Asia, and Europe. Those are only continents that they recognize. Everything else is afterwards. All right. Nothing else existed then but those four corners of the earth. Those four corners of exploration. Those four corners of invasion. Well, if the four corners of the earth was always named Africa, America, and Asia, and Europe, well, that means that people have been coming and going to America for a very long time. And we're talking about before these Europeans ever sought to sail in that direction, whatever direction it is, because we still don't know for sure. Yeah.
It's one of these slides that I have information on how the map went from circles to a square, but we don't even use the square no more. We actually use the circles again.
Because it was around the time when people were saying that the earth were flat, and then the Europeans, the Italians, the French, and the Spaniards or whatever were changing that up, because guess what? Was it Sumerians? Was it Sumerians who were saying that the earth was flat? But their one way thinking is like, okay, if the earth was flat, the Europeans or the Romans or whoever, if the earth is flat, that means you're gonna have to end up running off of it.
Yeah, no, that's not what they meant.
It's gonna come to an end. You're gonna fall off if it's square.
Nobody meant that. Like when they said the earth.
That's what they thought. That's what they thought. So they said to say
This
this, so
map
they
was
came up with the
actually
globe.
it was crazy. Eventually I forget what order the slides are. Forgive me, guys, but this map was actually pretty important. This is called the Cantino Planisphere. In 1502, the Italian Duke commissioned an agent named Alberto Cantino to acquire a map of the geographic discoveries of the Kingdom of Portugal, and which was notorious for closely guarding the location of new lands found by its explorers. So they kind of were keeping maps to themselves whenever they found new stuff.
Yeah,
As
they
you can
ain't
see,
found a
they
lot of new
have
shit.
Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There.
this the early maps. But like if you look, see how Africa is connected, but all of this right here is land,
Mm-hmm. It look
and
like
then
they
they
made
have
like
all
it's
of
sand.
this.
All that is
Yeah,
sand,
yeah,
except for
right.
the water and the greenery, right?
Mhm. Cantino actually smuggled this map out of Portugal, and it depicts Africa, India, and Europe, of course. And then it's the earliest known map to show the coastline of Portugal. They were trying to keep their maps of their coastline to themselves, of course, because we know what happens after this. um,
I'm
and
just
then
trying
it's
to
the earliest
figure
known map.
out.
What's
Go ahead,
that?
sis. I'm just
No,
trying to
I was
figure
just
out
saying it was going to show the new world.
how do we know the shape of these coastlines though? Like when you're
Well,
approaching.
now they give credit to satellites. Now they give credit to satellite photographs and stuff like that for as to why they know what the body shapes look like and stuff like that. Prior to they were giving all the credit to navigators and sailors. Now I have no idea how a navigator or a sailor was driving up and down a coastline and said, "Oh yeah, the coastline of Africa looks like this." Like that's just crazy to me.
A
I
satellite
don't
ain't even
believe that
telling
is
us that.
100% accurate at
A
all.
satellite can't even tell us that. A satellite can't even tell us that. A satellite can't even cover. So I do not believe that. It cannot go up so damn far and tell you what fuck shape this fucking earth is. It cannot tell you what shape of this whole fucking country is. Like what lens can see all that?
I have no idea. I just and even like with the whole satellite thing. Once you come out, I forget what was the story. It was like somebody died. It was a Italian explorer that died that actually wrote the book, The Land Beyond the Ice Walls. He
Mm-hmm.
died, and the very next day or the very next year, NASA was created.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like a cover over that explorer dying, his maps disappearing, and now we have NASA, and NASA is who
Wow.
pretty much creates the earlier satellites that were giving us the maps as we know it, and then all the other satellites just so happen to fall in line, and they're giving us the same images. Now
Mm-hmm.
you make whatever you make that 1+1 to add up to whatever number you want it to add up to.
I'm just trying to think of as many times I have been on an airplane. An airplane goes up 30,000 feet, whatever amount of altitude they say it goes up. And when you're leaving from one state to another, and you're leaving and you're seeing okay, when I was flying to Chicago and
Right.
we were the lakes or whatever they have out there. What is that? The Omaha something lake or something like that, I guess.
Yeah, the Omaha.
Okay, you can see a coastline around the lake and shit like that, but you can't make that shit out. You can't make that shit out to be what fucking shape you want damn to be that high up in the fucking air. You can't even tell the difference between what state that you in and what's not. You know what I'm saying? Let somebody tell you that's Chicago. I mean, let somebody tell you that's Illinois and that's Indiana or this, Michigan or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You don't know it. Even from being that
When you
high.
get right, and then like Kim walking with the video you sent me with the different domes and stuff like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
if people aren't fully traveling out of space and they're just traveling to next door, land masses with domes or whatever, then like y'all not really putting y'all satellites up in space like you claim you are.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't.
Ibn Battuta. I'm not familiar, but I'm assuming he might have a YouTube page. If he does, I'll definitely check him out. Tell him to come on the show. We got a lot of episodes after this one, now that I'm out of Facebook jail, because I was in Facebook jail for like 30 days. I could post the topics that we have coming up. And y'all could, if you know anybody that want to tap into the episodes, tell them to reach out. We're open.
We are open.
This
Yes, we
is
are.
the map that Amerigo Vespucci came up with in 1507. This is the first
America's.
American map.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually the most expensive map. The Library of Congress paid $10 million for this drawing. This is called the America's Birth Certificate. America's a cancer, right? Isn't that weird? Ugh, I hate it here.
And yet Africa is still connected to Europe.
in a major way, to where it's like off on the side rather than being like more, to the other side. It's very interesting. Like all the land masses, like Africa's so big, it's not even on the whole. You see how the tip of Africa is just falling out of the map?
You see how Madagascar over there is like, or is it still connected to Africa? I don't know. I'm assuming Madagascar was near a polar ice wall over there, down there, or something.
Right. That's what it looks like. All that surrounding areas, the ice wall seems like.
It's shaped like a heart.
Oh, fuck this place. I mean,
Look,
not the land.
it's another map. It's another map at the top of it as well.
These up here, right? Yeah.
Like a reverse version of it, somewhat. You see that?
Yeah, I see it. They start from a different point when they're showing like the actual
Yeah,
like.
it starts from Africa being over there, and then the middle part, and then they bring America over in some type of way. But no, it doesn't even look like America is there, because that's look like Australia is supposed to be right there. But mind you, there's always a polar ice wall, though.
Yeah, they always make sure they got it surrounded by ice wall. So it's like that kind of like solidifies what the outside of our land looks like. Like I think, I don't. And I like what you said before when we were talking about last year. I think we got into constellations, and you were saying that the the culture in West Africa doesn't believe in constellations to the level that we do. They actually believe that there's a layer of land above us, and the sunlight and stuff is peeking through these little holes, and what we're getting is like little bits and pieces of that light, and that makes a lot of fucking sense,
especially
to
at night.
me. Yeah, but you know what confuses me is what's light and day. Now, when you showed me that video, that made light and day make more sense to me, because it's like, okay, you're going to different worlds to provide light. But I don't know, the sun rising and falling on the earth from the northern to the southern hemisphere, that's just not clicking in my head correctly. Because if the sun is so big and so vast and we all can see the stars, why can't we all see the sun?
Right. We're supposed to, right?
Yeah, like why wouldn't we see the sun all year? Why wouldn't we see the sun all day? Like,
they can't explain that. So let's put the world in the shape of a ball and say that you can only see the sun shining on one side of that ball.
It's all right. We got a flat earth versus round earth episode coming up in a couple episodes from now. So we definitely gonna get into that. Don't even worry about that one. Ibn Battuta was a Berber scholar and explorer who traveled extensively in the lands of Afro-Eurasia, largely in the Muslim world in 1300. Exactly. Well, I said in the 1100s. We had 70 maps already, but I'm pretty sure he probably expanded on all of those in major ways. Every time hot tea is made for me, I always forget it's there, and now it's cold tea. My bad,
Yeah,
Z.
because you had the what you call it tea, right? The shit.
I had the ginkgo biloba tea.
There you go.
That joint cold as ice.
Yeah, I remember seeing you
want the
sitting there
cup?
one tea. I didn't have no tea today neither, though, so it's all good. You got yours brewed though. I didn't even have none.
Yeah, let me write his name down. I'm definitely gonna look him up. Ibn Battuta.
How you pronounce his name? Ibn?
Probably. Yeah, iced tea, right? Ibn. I got a few
Ibn?
names. I got a few friends named Ibn.
Oh, there's a Morehouse guard, Ibn Williams. College basketball. Interesting.
Cool.
Batuta. Abu Abdullah Muhammad Ibn Batuta. Okay, that's his whole name. Okay.
Oh, this is the one with the rectangle.
Okay,
the
so
Flemish
Berber is a Moor.
Yep, he's a Berber.
Yeah, okay, it's a Moor. Okay, cool. Scholars for traveling essentially lands with Afro-American. He traveled more than. Yeah, it was somebody who was showing them. It was another Moor who was showing Christopher Columbus and shit. How to get around to America. There's another
Thanks.
Moor who was showing his
That's funny.
Yeah, this was reminded me. I think I spoke about that last time, didn't I? On last episode.
I think when we was talking about the Woman King and we was talking about the Dahomey tribe, and I was like, it's clear as day that her rapist was a Moor, or at least like a black, Aboriginal Arab, and because the Arab slave trade was just not super as bad, but Arabs were also into rituals and witchcraft as well, so they
Yeah.
did do some like weird shit with their slaves and stuff as well. So when you had the Aboriginals that were being enslaved by the Arabs, of course eventually they take on their customs, their clothes and stuff, and hence now you have like what we see and call the Moors now, how they dress, and
Mm-hmm.
the wrappings on the turbans and all that stuff like that. A lot of that was influenced by the slave trade amongst the Arabs. So it's like, well, we really got to get to the cultural identity of Moors, because even the cultural identity we holding on to is not their cultural identity. That's from their first slave master.
Yeah.
We got to go to the Moabites with Lot and his two daughters.
Yeah, we gotta go all the way back there. I bet you they were blonde headed too.
Oh Lord. Yeah,
They're
all
probably
Moors ain't good
blonde-headed.
Moors. I'm convinced. We tribal people. I think all Aboriginals are tribal. I think it's safe to say that, because even when you get into the Native Americans, oh, I hate that. Fuck America. But
Ah!
even when you get to the indigenous people over here on this side, on Turtle Island or whatever, not everybody was good. You like, ain't nobody want to fuck with no Incas or Aztecs or the people that's in the southern part of Turtle Island. Nobody wanted to bang with them. They was out here beheading people. We had natives that were cannibals and shit. Like people getting their heads chopped off as sacrifice, and then you had the ones that was calm, cool, and quiet. So I definitely agree with you on that. Discernment is most definitely key. A lot, and that's how they get us, because a lot of people are so stuck on this, I'm black, y'all, I'm African American, unity, that they can't see they've been duped into, now I can put a avatar. I always think about that movie Metropolis, where they were trying to convince the workers to stay in the warehouse. But in order to convince the workers to stay in the warehouse, they had to create an android that was beautiful and feminine and soft, and she looked like a human, but she had the mindset of the slave drivers to tell them, hey, you guys, you want to work in the warehouse is fun, da, 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 da. And so I think about that a lot as well. Like they create these middle people, and that's what they do now. Like, for the people that's under the skin folk spell, that black spell, they'll put a black woman up there and say, hey, take the vaccine, y'all. They'll put a black woman up
Oh, they
there and
was
be
on
like,
that
fuck
heavy.
niggas. Yeah, they'll put a black woman up there and say, hey, eat this shit, drink more milk. Like, that movie is called Metropolis, and I believe you can find that on Netflix now. It's a black and white film. It's pretty old. I think it's 1920 something or something. I thoroughly enjoy that film. It also reminds me of Amazon, because now majority of our Aboriginals, our melanated folk, work at Amazon, or at some type of warehouse type.
I was thinking about, I don't know why the Bionic Woman is coming to my mind.
Yeah, it's another android that they will put in a. That's how I feel about Batman. Batman is the police. That nigga is a snitch. He's the android to make people
I like
feel
Batman.
he was a policeman, and they justify him using extensive force and stuff, and he was a snitch. He was a rich white snitch. In my mind, I was rooting for the Joker and Bane and Riddler. Like, yeah, fuck
I
this
mean,
nigga.
I ain't gonna hold you. I love the villains too, though. But I
Yeah.
always liked Batman. Only time I didn't like Batman was in Batman versus
Yes,
Superman.
Metropolis 1927. I don't even remember. I don't think I watched it. I think
It was too
my
long
dad
and it
took
was too
my
boring to
son to go
me.
see it. Yeah, my dad took my son to go see it, and I asked my son what happened. He gave me the
Hmm.
spark notes, and that's all I needed. I'm not sitting nowhere for two something. And at that point in time, DC did not have good production companies. Like, oh no, I'm okay. They're starting to get better with this HBO merger between DC, Warner Brothers, and HBO. I'm digging it now, but during that period of time, nah, I'm good off of DC.
Yeah,
But I
because
will say this:
mhm.
I do love DC for the strength that when you get into like that map you showed me with the 178 lands, DC is very spacey. That's the part of DC I like. When you start getting into Planet Krypton and all the different superheroes from different planets and all that. Like right now, I'm watching Naomi. Well, actually, I
Sorry.
finished watching Naomi on HBO, but I was watching that and it's getting into the different planets and the domes and stuff like that. Now, stuff like that I do like, and they definitely play on that. I got a cut on me. I didn't know. What breaks first, the body or the spirit?
The spirit.
I think the spirit.
Yeah.
I would say the spirit would be the hardest, and I only say this because I use the example of slavery. We was getting our ass beat. People was getting ripped apart by they would take four horses and tie them to the arms and legs of a man or woman and have the four horses run in different directions, and they would make all the aboriginals watch. They feeding babies to the alligators, making aboriginals watch, raping the men and the babies and the boys and the women and making everybody watch. And amongst all that, we still sang songs, we still got married, we still had
Excuse me.
baby showers, we still got
Mhm.
our hair done, we still got dressed up, and we still fought for our freedom. We still had those, the slave hymns that we hate to sing now because of the energy it invokes. It's no different to me than Summer Walker singing those songs to me. It's still, those were our spirits nonetheless. You know what I mean? But and they never broke. Our spirits never broke. But we're
Well,
aboriginals, so I wouldn't compare us to Batman.
reason why I say our spirits will break first. Well, it depends on the individual too. I wouldn't say our spirits break as a whole.
Hmm.
Oh my God, we're in the ghetto. Like there's mass shooting out there. Um, because when you're under certain conditions or whatever, you know what I'm saying, like that, like being held in bondage or whatever. Um, I would say your spirit has been broken to even have allowed yourself to have been in those conditions, even past the beatings and shit like that, even after your mother has been sold, your child has been raped, you have been raped, and you allow yourself to still continue to be in those conditions. Sounds like slavery was a choice to me. Kanye West, famous
It
quote.
was. It was.
Yeah.
It's always been a choice. Now I know people get upset,
Hmm.
triggered, but to say that it wasn't
Hmm.
a choice is very disrespectful to our ancestors that fought and bought themselves, that fought and
Hmm.
bought their wives, that burnt. We got people that was
Hmm.
burning white people houses down. You
Hmm.
know how many colonies went missing? That whole shit in
Hmm.
Virginia went missing.
Hmm.
And they try to make it seem like it's some mysterious witchcraft phenomenon on American Horror Story. Stop playing.
Yeah, they
You
came
know,
from
you know
yeah,
why
they
that
came.
Virginia town went
But you
missing.
know what? It didn't come from the black folks. It only came from Native American burial grounds. It's like Amityville Horror. This house was built on Native American burial ground and shit.
Because
Well, we
we're
are
the
Native.
Native
Right.
Americans.
Right. Yeah. You can't even
We're the
find them
Native
people that you talking about.
Americans.
They talking about. You can't even find them people that they're talking about with the images that come to your mind. That's not us. Not a reflection of us. You can't even find those folks. I don't never see them. They don't exist.
Hmm. But that's another example why I feel like our souls don't break first, because
Mm-hmm.
even though we feel disconnected and stuff like that, a lot of these towns that's built on Native American grounds are trash. Like the town that I live in. I live in Burlington, New Jersey. This actually used to be the whore town for politicians. Like that night that George Washington went down the Delaware River, he was over here getting the yams, getting drunk and getting the yams. This
Whose
was
yams
also
you
a
were
space
getting?
of I wonder whose yams he was getting. Good question.
Some prisoner of war.
Yeah, and when you come out here now, you know they're always trying to gentrify, but it always backfires. Like this land they're not gonna let you gentrify this land, bro. Y'all built a whorehouse on top of Native American spiritual ancient land that's next to the fucking water. So you can only imagine how many bodies is in that water, how many slaves they dumped into that water or whatever, what have you. And they came out here and they got drunk. They gambled. The prostitutes live here, and the land has been suffering ever since. Ever since they built that nonsense on the Native American soil, this town is dusty. It's dusty. Even the politicians in this town are dumb. Everybody here is so weird. I
The
hate it
whole
here.
America has became the whole corporation of America as we know it is dusty. Okay.
It's dusty. It's dusty because they built it on top of spiritual land. They built it on top of our ancestors' graves. And they dig up our ancestors' graves regularly because they're addicted to oil. Oil is the liquid from fossils. Where do you think the fossils are? Us. It's our ancestors. They're digging up our ancestors'
No,
bones.
sis, they're from the freaking dinosaurs. It's the only way you get
They're also from the giants. Oh. So there was a map that was showing that the giants were actually on Turtle Island. They're over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had maps that like in the south part of Turtle Island, that's where more majority, and they would show them in the maps. They would show like tall giants next to the short little colonists.
Like the Amazon women, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep. Well, they were patriarchal, so they weren't drawing women on the maps. They were big men.
But weren't Amazons like giant women? Like, would they consider me an Amazon?
Yes,
I'm
this time is most
5'9".
definitely a
I'm
Netflix series.
200
Well,
plus
right now it's
pounds.
Crackhead Bill.
Oh, okay.
What'd you say?
I was saying, like, would they consider like me an Amazon back then, or would I have to
I
be
think it was more
taller?
so directed towards the Nephilim.
Okay.
Yeah,
The hairy
but they
people?
could on yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So they were hairy Amazonian women too? Oh.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got the hermaphrodites. A lot of people in southern Turtle Island are tall as shit. We still have giants out here that are over 7 foot tall. Don't get it twisted. They're still out here. We just put them in the world. What is it called? Ripley's.
Believe it or not.
Is that what the record breaking book? What is that? That's Ripley's, right?
Oh, Guinness. Oh, that's
A
Guinness.
Guinness Book of Record. Yeah, we put those people in the
It's
Guinness
a
Book
beer
of
named
Record.
after that book.
But if you
That
get into the
book
lineage
is made
of
after a
them,
beer. Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of shit in those Guinness Book of Records that show you that magic is real, telepathy, teleportation, because they play with it. They playing with us. They're playing with us. And if you want to hide shit from people, put it in a fucking book. I like books. So it wasn't too much being hidden from me. But all that stuff is in those record books. They're like, oh my God, he could do this, he could think that. This guy's this tall. Yeah, but if you look at the lineage of that person, I bet you get back to them giant stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a great time to be alive. Giants and dragons are most definitely real. Dragons is out here because the dragons were also written on. It was so many different aquatic animals on the map, like, bro, and they still
The
out there.
Chinese
It's just
honor
we
the
put them
dragons, believe in dragons. Of course, the dragons got people just don't make up this shit in their fucking head, yo. I'm telling you, I've never dreamt of a dragon or I've never really had images of monsters or some type of being in my head and that I haven't seen before.
Yeah,
I had to have the images before. I couldn't just make that up in my imagination. You know what I'm saying?
it's so many animals we haven't even met yet on this plane. Like, this plane is so vast and so big. To say you even can say you know where all the lands are and every animal, like, that's so not true.
Believe that. I don't believe we discovered we haven't discovered, because there's only how many languages? There's only 100 or something freaking languages, right?
We're always expanding. We're always growing.
What they
if you're
recognize,
physically expanding and growing, for the rest of your life up until you decide. Even when you decide to decease and they put you in the dirt, your body is still going through transformations. Your body is always going through transformations. Like literally always, even when their skeleton is in the dirt, your body is going through transformation. To say that that is valid, but the earth is never transforming. Like, yeah, okay, some animals might go extinct to your knowledge because you don't have enough knowledge to go to extended lands that have not been touched yet to see, okay, maybe the animals decide to migrate here because they sick of fucking humans.
Yeah,
But
all the
even
kiwis
if
are
they
over
were to
there.
go extinct, that means that more animals are being created.
Mm-hmm.
That means
Yeah.
when certain plants go extinct, that means other plants are coming to life. Like it's a polar. Like in some areas you see their desert is growing and their drought is happening. Well, in other areas it's monsoons and flooding. That's the way it works. It's called the scales for a reason. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the myths definitely have truth, and more people believe in seeing it. That's because we're under the Roman Empire. That's why. You know, to deck your whole house out and your lawn and your whole life for 30 days to support a Russian Roman ancestor. Like these people don't even put that much energy into their own ancestors. Do you
Yo,
put out
into
milk and
a
cookies at night for
tree.
your ancestors?
They put that in. They put all the energy into a fucking tree. They
Yeah,
put all their energy into this tree in their home, just absorbing all their fucking powers and shit.
I'm
Just,
good off that.
I mean, ever
I'm
since
good off
November,
that.
like Thanksgiving, after they done got all that gluttony and shit from Thanksgiving or whatever, slaughtering indigenous
More
people day or whatever.
paganism, more
Mhm.
ritualistic shit.
Oh my gosh! Then they just give all their love and shit and energy into this tree. Like they can't wait to put that damn tree up, yo.
And my favorite part is they're all Christians. This is my favorite fucking part. Like, how dare y'all? And then look at me like I'm crazy. Like, y'all don't even know. I'm more in alignment with God than you know. I just,
Mhm.
I curse. Okay. And it's not even a curse. I'm not cursing. I don't curse people. I don't curse things. I say profane words.
I do have a potty mouth.
Yeah, but that's not a curse word. Curse words is when you're literally speaking curses upon someone. You don't
Yeah.
curse.
Hmm.
We say profane words. I speak in a lot of profanity. That's what I do.
Yeah, they've been doing that since the beginning of time, yo. Like they've had
Yeah,
words, explicit words, always,
it really
always.
is up to us. You're right,
When I was a
Romeo.
kid, I thought cuss words, I thought explicit or derogatory language was something that only my parents' generation had. You kind of find out, you read older books or whatever. Yo, they've been using all kind of words. Motherfucker,
Their
dick,
words
pussy,
was
shit,
worse and weirder.
the beach. Thy bitch. I take thy bitch to love with honor and respect.
Calling people bed wenches and bastard was
That
their
which is
favorite one.
bastard, yeah.
When I
Oh
started
yeah.
reading about the word bastard, yo, I was the 12-year-old calling everybody a dirty bastard. You dirty bastard. Like, bro, where did she get this word from? Don't worry about it. I read books, sweetheart. You're a bastard.
Motherfucker. You would think motherfucker was new. Motherfucker has been around for a very long time. I think, in fact,
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson's
That's an
great great
Oedipus
great great
complex.
granddaddy made the word motherfucker.
Yeah. That came from the Oedipus, John. You're a motherfucker, you
Many
fuck
claim
your
they
mom.
are woke, yet dressed up for Halloween, ate drumsticks on Thanksgiving, killing and putting up Christmas trees make sense. Yeah, I see so many
Mm,
people in the spiritual community that you know,
doing the same shit.
they do the same shit.
I had people telling me about Aries season, Aries season, Aries season. My phone keep vibrating because these same people talking about Aries season is texting me Happy New Year, and I'm not responding to nobody. Get out my phone. I'm not even acknowledging. You're not going to get my energy because I know how strong my throat chakra is.
Y'all don't
I'm
even
not
be up this
doing
time of night. I ain't heard from this chick in like 12 years, and
it.
I
Ooh,
get
it's
a
one, two,
happy new year, sisters.
three.
Happy holidays, love. Happy New Year, sisters.
Happy 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're right. Correcting our vocabulary. Yeah, fasting. Actually, this is the time we're supposed to be fasting because when you get into the Netaru's, us being solar beings, our solar plexus chakra. In fact, you know what? We're so aligned with the cosmos. Mars is in retrograde right now until the second week of January. Mars is the I'm sorry, Ogun. Ogun is the energy that controls our solar plexus chakra. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
your solar plexus chakra is where your gut is, your ethers, your digestive juices and stuff. That's your solar plexus chakra. That's your inner fire. That's why when you drink certain things and you burp or you get the heartburn and all that stuff like that. But during this time, not just food. During this time, there's no, that means your solar plexus chakra is chilling. So all that consumption, all that creating and getting things done, we're not supposed to be doing none of that. Hibernation is happening. So yeah, it's not just food, it's also consumerism. It's from, overworking stuff. See, here goes somebody else trying to tell me Happy New Year. Like, bro, get out of my phone. Um, all that
It's
stuff.
inappropriate to call these hours at these hours, in fact.
Exactly. Well,
Any
he's
other
all the
night.
way in New Mexico, so I'm sure over there was it.
No, I was
He
just
probably
being a
looking at
smart ass
the
though. But nobody's hitting up nobody past 10 o'clock for real. Unless it's on New Year's or something.
Right. But
Hmm.
you're absolutely right. Fasting is not only food, but also from the mundane stuff. But
Yeah.
the way they got it set up is like I told you in the Roman holiday. This is Saturnalia in the month of December. And when you talk to pagans, they actually call Saturnalia what it is. Like they'll tell people Happy Saturnalia. Da, da. They really celebrate it in our faces. And I think a lot of them are very ignorant of their own culture. They don't know the true culture of themselves as Nordics and all that stuff like that. They're literally being fed this shit too to also keep it alive. That was also the mindset of the Romans when they were doing the separation of the races or whatever. It was also to keep them separated too, so they think they're different, but also keep them ignorant because they still not us. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, during the month of December, that's when they want to free the slaves for a whole month and let them, go about in the town like they regular commoners and stuff like that. So that's what they do now. Oh, you want to we'll free you. We'll close the school. Colleges be closed for the whole month. Middle school be closed. Well, middle school's only closed for the week now. They're really not trying to give kids no winter break no more. And then
Shit, not these ones. You talking about
no,
going on 3 weeks, girl? They've been out of school
really?
since like the 17th or whatever, and they're out until the
Wow.
5th. The 5th. The 5th.
Oh, it's really Rome. It's really Rome down there. They give them a week up here, and God forbid stuff fall in a certain way to where they can give them less than a week. They'll get less than a week. The only reason why they get a week is because Christmas was the one Sunday and New Year's is the other Sunday. So it's like
I'm
might as well
ready
just
for
give
them
them this
to
Monday through Friday right here.
go. I'm ready for
They
them
go
to
back
go.
on Tuesday, I think.
I'm ready for
Yeah.
them to go. They don't go back till Friday.
That's why it takes a village. Like it should be a village that comes in and helps you with the kids. Like, all right, I'm gonna teach math. Okay, I'm gonna teach art. All right, I'm gonna do gym. All right, I'm gonna teach them martial arts. All right, I'm gonna teach them music. This, that, and the third. Like it's very natural for you not to want to be around your kids all the time. We need our village. The mothers need their village. And I honestly believe it's up to the mothers. We got to do it because the men aren't going to come in and do that for us because the men have to control the masculine aspect of things. We got to come together and start doing that shit.
Their own daddy ain't even doing it. Their own daddies don't want to do it. And
They're
I'm
not
just
going
speaking.
to. That's
Yeah.
our responsibility as women.
Yeah.
We're the educators. We're the educators.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. No doubt about that. We're the first educators, in fact.
Yeah, we're the first educators.
We
We gotta
continue
stop
doing
giving
it.
our kids to these Rome ass niggas.
Mm-hmm.
It's just time for us to come together as mothers, as women, and build the village. Even if we over here, like my kids is grown. Okay, I'm pretty sure your kid
Yes.
is still needs to be taught some things, or now you can use
I
your
don't
knowledge
know
to teach
why they
our
had
other
the
kids.
constant. Oh my God, something is on fire over there.
No.
Yes, it's the dead ass is something on fire right across the way over there. I don't know
Fireworks
what is
going
on
wrong.
fire, but y'all don't lit something on fire and y'all got hey, come check this out. There's somebody's house on fire over there.
What?
Look, it's a fire.
Well, I want to see.
See, that's why I don't stay on that side of the ghetto. I stay on this side of the ghetto. Somebody's doors on that is girl, these people stupid. No white folks then lit their shit up on fire over there.
Their house on fire.
Yeah, call
Thank
911.
you,
Tell them it's
Luna. I
apartment on
appreciate
fire.
that. That's nice.
This child said there's nobody house on fire. Clearly, there's a fire. It's a little fire. Little fires turn into big fires. But okay.
Yeah,
There's plenty of wind blowing outside too to keep it burning.
absolutely is. The air is crazy enough for a fire to spread if it needed to
And
spread.
it's foggy right now too, so
Hmm. Oh yeah, so this chart, this is the map I was talking about. So this is the Flemish cartographer. His name is Mercator. They call him the father of cartography or whatever the fuck. He made this map in 1569. This is when they started making the maps as squares. This was a
Mm-hmm.
way of displaying the spherical Earth on a flat rectangular surface. He drew the world map with parallels of latitude that are spaced increasingly far apart as they move further away from the equator. So he was trying to emulate the circle ideal with the spacings of the lines on top of the square. And this feature made the Mercator projection invaluable to mariners. Okay, so I said it backwards. So people that are on the water couldn't use it to sail in straight lines. But it also meant the relative side of different land masses was hugely distorted. Greenland and other popular regions appear far larger than they actually are, while equatorial land masses such as Africa and South America are heavily compressed.
Oh wow.
Um,
You look how Spain is connected to is that Spain or that Portugal?
yeah,
It's
now it's
connected to
further
Africa
over
right
top
there.
of Africa, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Hmm.
Because they want you to know that white folks, them European folk were invading that area,
And look how much bigger North America is than South America.
Now that's the concept I was telling you about comparison to the North America and Africa or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Making like, I'm just as big as you guys.
Hmm.
This ideology with that, the size of America, how it is what they've been teaching us for so long.
Yeah, this is actually the map that we use in school with the
Mm-hmm.
Mercator lines, the longitude and
Mm-hmm.
latitude on the square
Yes.
surface. I hated these maps. They made no sense to me, especially when they
Mm-hmm.
started getting into us actually like planting. Like and when I was in school, they were teaching us how to do the math of the longitude and latitude so we could make our own maps, and it just never made sense to me. Like I knew how to do it, of course. Like once I learned the foundation of something, yeah, I could play your game. I can draw whatever you need me to draw, but in my mind, I'm like, this shit is fucking stupid, but okay. I'll get this A real quick. This was the map that they were using. The premise of this map is what they were using up
Mm-hmm.
until the 20th century. So, I mean, we're only in the 21st century, right? This is considered 21st.
Yeah, we're always like a century ahead, but a century behind at the same time. So when
Right.
we're in
Okay.
2000s, we're in I don't even know why they did it like that. The measurements of
Now, this was
time.
kind of, I'm not a fan of this chart, but this was kind of showing what years each border was created.
Okay.
And I can't really see the key. I can't see it from here either, but it's there. And it just
They have Saint.
but I did have a list. So most of the borders were formed. So this shows the year time span. So the first one is 1200 to 1499. This is how much distance, 2,405 kilometers worth of border was created, which is only 0.9% of the borders as we know it.
That's not a lot.
So it's not a lot, right? So
No.
we weren't using borders. We didn't give a fuck about borders. Borders didn't come into play until really the Roman Empire, and then it turned into the Roman Catholic Church, and then you get into like Christians, and now you got all the Christian invasions, the Puritans, the colonists, and all that, the Pilgrims. Like that's when we really start getting into borders. 1875 to 1899, 23.6% of the borders as we know it. 1900 to 1924, 32%.
So
That time gap.
people were discovering more lands then. They were creating more borders, discovering more lands then. So what you're telling me?
They were
During those
taking over
times?
more land. They were
Okay.
colonizing.
Okay. Like a motherfucker.
If you see one, yeah, you can have one. Yeah, that was the period of colonization. That's why that whole 400 years of slave shit throws me, because we were not slaves for 400 years. Slavery was not a enslavement is a war tactic. And to say it took them some time to first go to prepare for war, go to war, learn the land. It was a lot of tribes they had to fight against. A lot of times they were losing. They were catching diseases. Their towns were disappearing. This is one of the longest wars that they ever had to endure, but they're not going to give it credit. The only war they're going to give credit to as the longest war is that 30-year war. But they was fighting aboriginals for hundreds of years. They weren't just coming over here and engaging in a happy slave trade and everybody was just like, okay, slavery is happening now, and everybody just got with the shit. That's not how it happened. Nobody was slaves for 400 years. Let's get that shit straight. Now, maybe if you want to add the Arab slave trade with the American slave trade, then yeah, let's play with those numbers. We could play with those numbers. That's different. But even then, it wasn't just a straight through. And even after 1776, it was
People
a
are not
period in the
gonna allow their
1800s.
lineage to be in bondage that freaking long. We're not gonna let that shit
No,
happen.
people
Hell
started buying
no.
their
People
freedom.
get tired of that
You
shit.
had
Yeah.
listening. There was never a time where they were peacefully running slaves. There was never It was never peace for them. It still isn't peace for them. Every time something happens, we're marching in the streets. We burning their businesses down. Something that we have to really get back to doing.
Major changes and revolution are always happening with violence, okay? And usually the
exactly.
people who are on the violent side are the ones who are the oppressed, okay? So know that. Prisoners of war.
That's exactly what they were, prisoners of war. So we were still at war. They weren't just, oh, this is the economic slave trade and everybody's with the shits. That's not what was happening. And it's crazy how they would sit there and make it seem so, but then turn around and say what Hitler was doing during the Holocaust, he wasn't resting. No, he wasn't resting. He was at war the whole time he was having his slaves. Those people, those concentration camps were slaves. They were working. He put them people to work. That was free labor for him. And Hitler had the mindset he had because of fucking Bachmann's dumbass in 1775 separating races between the 5 races based on their skulls. That was Hitler's mindset was based on. So, that backfired on you guys real quick. They didn't take no time. But he didn't have slaves and was resting and sleeping just fine. No, he was at war the entire time he had those slaves in those concentration camps. You're absolutely right. We're at war right now. It's just people don't know.
Well, I was at war.
They occupied with the circus.
Spiritual war, fucking land war, colonization war, damn, yeah, all that.
It's spiritual, it's a war against life and death.
Mm-hmm.
They got us speaking death all the time. We always speaking death. We eating dead shit. We praise dead entities. We thank God for dead shit. We even ask God to give us dead shit. God ain't gonna give us no dead shit.
That's why I stopped saying my grace, yo. I stopped saying that's not I just stopped saying my grace because I just thought it didn't make no sense. And I was saying my grace because the stuff that I put in my body isn't even really nutritional. You know what I'm saying? If it's a dead carcass of an animal. For real. Yeah, I stopped saying grace a long time. I'm thankful though. I'm always thankful for what I do have, what I can eat. But if it's no nutritional value to your body, you shouldn't be thankful for that at all. And when you know better, you do better.
And then a lot of people come with that nonsense. Oh, well, if I pray over it, it makes it cool. It makes it okay. You know what? You know what? You're right. You keep doing that. Let me know how that works out for you later on when you got prostate cancer and this cancer and that cancer, or every winter your nose is running. You always got mucus in your throat. You always coughing. You can't sleep at night because your nasals are congested. You're waking yourself up because you breathe too fucking hard. Let me know how that eating that dead shit and praying over it works for you.
It don't.
It doesn't. But, I'm not debating with nobody anymore. I'm no longer here to debate. When I first, started getting when I was in college, I was one of those people that was outside protesting against Monsanto. I was back in 2008, I knew about 5G network, and I was protesting about that, and I was protesting about the GMOs, and they putting shark meat inside the apples, and I was telling people about the wax on all the fruit, and I was yelling at people. I had the flyers in the car all the time, and guess
Oh
what?
yeah.
Nobody fucked with me. It was, oh, here she come, Miss Judgmental, Eric, like she always know, blah 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 blah. And I created that stamp on me, and I didn't like that because I never want to be a bad guy in nobody's story, and I'm not trying to say shit like I'm better than you or whatever, because I'm always practicing. My life is a practice. My life is an exercise. So when I say stuff, I'm not saying it from the throne looking down on my nose. I'm saying, yo, bro, like we have to come together and do this if we want change. Nothing's going to change if you're still eating Monsanto. If you're still giving them the money and the energy they need to keep going, why would they stop? If you're still giving, these fast food companies the money and the stuff that they need to keep going, why would they stop? Like Papa John's is still here, bro. Everybody knows everything about fucking Papa John's and they're still here. Balenciaga is still fucking here. Jay-Z and Beyonce are still fucking here. All those people that was on those Epstein records still fucking here because people are still consuming their shit. We're still sitting on their platforms. We're still watching their news. We're still giving money to the corporations they own. We're still, contributing, to different things. Like I stopped trading Forex once I realized when I was putting money on stuff, what I really was putting on money on. It sucked. It hurt my feelings because I was doing really well at it. But
Yeah.
my spirit is louder than it. I'm sorry. I can't do like that.
Yeah. But you live and you learn though. And when you learn, you do better. And when you do better, you create better things.
Absolutely.
Real history is so dope but sad. We will rise and triumph once again. Yeah, we shall.
We will. We shall. We shall. And just know that it's the 1%. Because you know how we say, oh, the 1% owns the 99%? They stole that 1% ideal from us because they knew it was a 1% that was going to rise. So they knew you only need 1% to control the 99%. You don't need the 99% to be on the same page as you. When you walk through the streets, you listen to the needs of the people. What do the people need? They need shelter. They need food. They need mental health. They need spiritual health. They need assistance with their children because they're tired. All the things that they feel like they need to pay for, they need assistance with that. So if you take away those things, if you provide them instead of allowing this quote unquote enemy to provide them, then you have the people. And you only need a 1% to do that. If a 1% came together, you say 7 billion people in the world, what percent of that? Like 7,000? Maybe 70,000? I don't fucking know.
I'm
it's way more than that.
I'm gonna say about 7 mil.
It's way more than that. It's 7 mil, right?
Or 7 mil.
That's a lot of fucking people.
Let me do the calculation on that so we can make sure we for real.
Right,
hold on
right.
We got to do the calculation.
My brain was on 0.0001%. Yeah, I think that's like 70 or 700 mil. 1%.
It say one person. Okay, it say one person who got the money.
It's a 1%, right?
One person who got $7 billion. There you go.
7 mil is not a lot. It's not a lot. It's not a lot at all. You figure you could play with those numbers real funny, especially for these people that got like, tens of thousands of Instagram followers and stuff like that. Put a couple of them together and you got your mil.
I don't know. Don't speak too soon, sis. Give me 7 motherfucking mil. And it's gonna be a hell of a fucking lie. I'll show you what the fuck 7 mil got me. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna build up a whole fucking community with 7 fucking mil. 7 mil.
7 mil? I'm buying a state. We Gucci. You could fit the whole population of the world.
I'm buying
in
a
Texas
whole town.
with each person an acre of land.
In Texas?
There's over 7 billion acres of land in Texas. You can fit all of America inside of dang, what was that little ass? You could fit all of America inside of it was like a country in the Middle East. It's not It's not the fact that there's a bunch of people in the world that's the
You don't
problem.
need
It's
to.
the consumerism. It's the
Yeah.
corporations. It's the trade. It's the trade routes and the dumping in the oceans and the digging in the dirt. And honestly, it's not destroying the world. You goofy if you think you're about to break the world. You're destroying the environment you live in. Your city is going to flood. Your city is going to get polluted. Your city is going to be poisonous. The air is going to be poisoned. Now, if you move out of that city into like fresh air, then you're not going to have that issue. It's like when you watch The Walking Dead, when everybody was getting sick in one area, but if you drive out into the country, you find other humans. Or
Yeah.
like, what was that show? Last Man on Earth.
Mm.
You know, everybody got sick off of illness, but if you drive out, you're on regular land. You around other humans, and you find other people now. You can breathe
Move.
the air now. They just be playing in our face. My folks on the
I'm
street done fucked up millions. Oh yeah, especially during COVID, bro. Everything out here was closed but the liquor store.
in the church.
Yep. Why smell like something burning?
Okay, so 1% of 7 billion is 70 million, sis. We was off. We were all
We
off.
was 70 million. That's still not a lot.
Hold on, how many
70
zeros is
million.
this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, my bad. So yeah, 70 million. I know. Let me. We and Trey were looking at like some celebrities, right? And we were looking at their net worth. Shit. So we were looking at Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, a couple other celebrities and shit like that, right? I'm looking like these niggas is broke. They only got 200 some mil. What the fuck? They ain't got no damn money.
That's enough.
What? That's it? That's all you got? 40 mil? What the fuck? We thought you had more than that. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like, okay, your net worth is $5 million a fucking year. Now, unless you don't have many good investments, your money really ain't gonna move, ain't gonna multiply like that. The world is on fire. But if you have really great investments, then yeah, that 5 million a year is just like guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? No problem. You might even get it in less than a year, 6 months time. So over a 10 years, how much money you have accumulated on top of why are they shooting guns now? I hate
like
these
something's
holidays.
burning in here.
But I'm just trying to figure out like why all these people who got all these fucking millions don't even have like I would have an acre per meal that I have. At least. Every year I'll buy like a few more acres. You know these ghost towns that you could buy ghost towns and shit for like less than $1 million.
Well, like 100,000. You could buy ghost town.
I wanted to buy a whole fucking town somewhere. It has a river, it has mountains, it's somewhere here in Georgia or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't buy that shit for like $300,000 or something. You know what I mean? People I could put out there on that land. You know what I mean? Houses I could build out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, from just natural resources, all the wood and shit is out there. Okay, if I don't want to chop down all the trees, or at least I can, go to Home Depot and buy me enough wood, I guess, to build me some homes.
Right.
Even he wanted to get off the what he wanted to get off. I couldn't see it.
It should say B ...
He wanted to get off the bullshit planet, the bike.
Yeah. I would too.
E.T. won't go home. E.T. says too ghetto here.
He said, I'm over this shit. Y'all got it. Y'all definitely got it. Because like soon as people realized who he was, aside from the kids, of course, it's always the children. It's always the children. Because kids come here still intact with their akashic records. It's when they go through the school system and the parent indoctrination and all these other different things going on. That's when they lose their access to their akashic record. But they come into this
Mm-hmm.
world already knowing the proper energy and with that godlike energy in them and stuff like that. So the fact that children took him in and treated him right and stuff like that, and then as soon as the adults come in, the scientists, I want to get the fuck off of here too. Like, bro, y'all doing too much.
This image is very intriguing to me.
This one,
Yeah, I have a dirty mind. So, okay, it
mm-mm.
looks like a dragon and it looks like species. Okay, species is in the front. You know what I'm saying? And the dragon, whatever, is in the back of them. And all the little holes in the dragon look like little scales or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or
Mm-hmm.
it might be a serpent. Okay, now it look like something like a serpent with his mouth open. I see many different images at one time.
Oh, I see. I see a lot of elephant heads.
I see some skulls.
Mm-hmm.
You
This
say you
is
see
the
elephant head?
this is one of the maps that was made by Al-Idrisi in 11. What was it? 11. Well, this is not one of the ones by 1154. Yeah, this is one of the maps by 1154 BC. This is like one of the first maps that he was a Muslim that was hired by Norman King Rogue.
It
But this
looks
is
like
from the 12th century.
it looks like a topography map. Like it look like it looks
Mm-hmm.
more. Yeah, it looks more like the design of like how the land is in a certain area with the soil
Yeah,
and all that. That's what
that's what
that
I'm
looks like to
thinking.
me. Hmm.
Because they have them surrounded by mountains.
Which it would be the most accurate. You know what I'm saying? Of where you are. That would be the
Mm-hmm.
closest to what you can really get, of an area. And therefore you can create borders like that locally, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine it. You create a border by a mountain. Okay, this mountain right here is by these 4 trees over here, or these other mountains right here, or whatever. This side is Tabula. All right. On the
Mm-hmm.
other side of
Yeah,
that is whatever's over there. Mm-hmm.
they used to divide the lands by the mountains and the rivers
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like because they didn't believe in they didn't have to believe in border lines. They'd just
No.
be like, oh, I'm on this side of the river and you could be on that side of the river. Okay, cool, deal.
Yeah.
And if
Okay.
you
So this is
need to
where
come
your
on this
people
side of
are.
the river,
Okay.
you can.
This
Yeah.
is how I can find you. Yeah, you can find me on the other side of the river, up the stream a little bit, past this mountain right
Hmm.
here. This is
That's where
where,
they get the oh, this is a 2-day walk to up the river
yeah,
for the next tribe. Yeah, like that.
right, right, yeah. For less nobody's tribe, you walk, to the
Hmm.
west a little bit. You can find them over there chilling.
Yeah, I think that's why he had like by the end of 1154, he had over 70 maps. So this was just one of them. So they were probably just like the small, like you said,
Different lands, different areas,
Yeah,
within it, right?
this
Which
is
is
another one.
way more accurate, which is what we should be looking at.
Yeah, I prefer city maps, town maps over like a whole world map. I think, and I think that's where a lot of the world maps came from. They kind of tried to combine all the city maps together to try to make bigger land masses as one. It's
And they
something
started
about the
creating
shapes.
shapes
I
and
feel like
shit.
we're
Yeah,
being fed the shapes.
we are. We've always been fed the shapes. How long have these shapes been drawn and been around, sis? Since how
Yeah.
long? Okay, and nobody has traveled out into space at that time, right?
Hmm.
And we're
Yeah, and
still
then it
going
was during the time
along with
of
the
the
same.
Assyrian and Roman uprising. Now all of a sudden we're these shapes, like.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, I ain't gonna hold you. I like the shape of Africa or what have
I do
you.
it too.
Yeah, it's very pretty or whatever. But I don't believe that is what it is. It's not. Can't be possibly. Nobody has seen that. Nobody has the. No one on this earth has the eye to see all the land like that at one. Even if you're traveling to each fucking land, girl, I can go to
Especially
Phoenix
because
City
you're on a
right
round
now.
planet.
It will, especially if you're on a round planet.
If we're on a round
It's,
planet, ain't no way. The planet big as shit. You're not convincing me. I'm sorry. I don't care. And then even if we were on a flat planet and we were in a dome, you can't go up high enough to see everything.
that's exactly what the point I was making. Even if you up in the airplane is the highest that me and you would go, right? Besides the
Right.
scientists in NASA or whatever, right? How high can they go, right?
If you
Breaking
go
through the
above the clouds, you
atmosphere.
can't see shit. Who's seeing
You
the land above the clouds?
exactly. Because when you on that plane, you can barely see shit above them in them clouds.
Don't see nothing.
Mm-mm. Not even at night when the clouds are on the ground. When some clouds have, descended to the ground. And yes,
Right.
August clouds. Nobody's eye can see that far.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make out
This is Rome. This is how Rome is set up. The early Roman Empire.
Macedonia, right? Or whatever the fuck they want to call it.
At first, I was going to say Macedonia, but I think it was called something different. But this is Roman road stretching from Western Europe to the Middle East, and an extra section that shows India, Sri Lanka, and other parts of Asia. This map includes locations of more than 500 cities with some 3,500 other points of interest, stations, temples, forests, rivers, and even spas. And I guess these are roads.
Okay, road maps are handy. Okay, a lot of the Africans showed them how to make these roads and shit too.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you
Above
had
ground.
roads. Mm-hmm. So, oh look, you can even see the little houses or whatever the buildings and
I
stuff.
know, isn't that cute? Everybody's like got a nice amount of yard space. I would love to be this little house that's in front of this little river right here next to the letter E. Nice little house.
Oh yeah, the little is that a pond?
Yeah, isn't that
Big.
cute? And there's two little houses right in front of it, all that laying around there.
Oh, that is nice. That is nice. So what is that brown right there? That's to the left of that pond of where
Maybe
you're
those
at.
are mountains or hills.
Maybe so. Mm-hmm.
Because you have some that are darker than others. Maybe the darkness is like elevation.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm reaching. I didn't stretch first.
It's not a bad stretch. I mean, it's not a bad reach.
That's the only thing I can think of. Hills, mountains, dirt, mounds.
I mean, because they're not giving us much information. We're going to have to just use our imagination. Imagination.
Hey.
Imagination.
That's what they use to create all their shit.
Exactly. They use their imagination when they made these continents, when they drew them on a map. Maybe they
So the original, this is how they play in our faces. So the original map like this was created in the 4th century AD, but the only version that exists today is a 13th century copy. So in the 13th century is like the 1200s, right? Yeah, that was during the rise of their empire when they were colonizing things or preparing to anyway. Yeah, my leg is healing pretty good. I'm trying my best. I'm just working on range of motion right now and trying to get on my weight bearing. I should be walking by Ogun season.
This must be a map of the poles.
Yeah, I think he tried to use those little compass things to make this that Mason symbol thing they be using.
A compass, okay. Yeah.
I forget what they're called. We used to use them in math class to measure like circles, I think it was.
Yeah, that's what it was. The compass. You make the
It's called a compass.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure. They had a fancy name. I don't really care for this map. It's boring.
Little point, and they had like a little pencil on the end, and you're a perfect circle. Okay, yeah.
This one looks like gives me constellation vibes.
Okay,
I'm seeing stars.
so this nigga was born in Egypt and he died in Egypt. You can't tell me that.
Who, Ptolemy?
Yeah.
Claudius Ptolemy in 150 AD.
But how
Yeah, I
was he
guess
Greek
so.
if he was born in Egypt and died in Egypt?
Because that was around the time the Greeks were in Egypt. He was like in there between the Greek and the Roman Empire upheaval. Because you know the Romans and the Greeks used to go back and forth. They both wanted to
Yeah,
be
they
the
did.
it. So like if he's in Egypt being, I don't know, whatever his nationality is. Well, actually your nationality is whoever rules the land you're on. So he was going back and forth between being a Greek and a Roman probably.
Oh, he's the
Or
nigga that said that Mercury, Venus, the moon, and the sun revolve around the earth.
yeah, he was an astronomer and a cartographer and stuff like that. During the 13th century, when the Byzantine Empire came to play, a lot of his maps disappeared. A lot of his stuff disappeared. But he essentially just worked for the Romans. He was Romans.
Galileo disproved Ptolemy's model while using his telescope to investigate the planets. He was saying during his observation that he discovered that the planet Venus goes through phases like the moon, which causes it to appear and change its shape.
That makes sense. Like I was telling you earlier, in certain areas of the land, we're being flooded, and in the other areas of the land, you know, there's droughts and the land is rising. That makes total sense.
Moving through the portals.
Yeah.
It might not be portals like how I'm imagining, but it's some form of portal.
I definitely wholeheartedly agree.
We're moving through. The Earth is moving through a portal.
That goddess YouTube page I sent you that did the things. Okay, so y'all need to follow Auntie Tatiana, Tateana. I
Auntie
watched her
Tatiana?
whole YouTube. Yeah, Auntie it's Auntie Aunty. I watched her whole YouTube channel in an hour because her videos are very short, but she read The Ice Beyond the Walls and she did her due diligence research after watching the film, and then she made these short 7 to 20-minute videos, and she talks about, you know, the knowledge. And when she gets into that, she talks about how the portals are actually underwater, which is why you have different maritime laws. That's also why a lot of explorers go missing, because they go underwater, or, you know, and then we're surrounded by water. So going underwater isn't always you going in the ocean. Sometimes it's you going in the sky, because we're water. We're in water, like. And I immediately thought of the Bermuda Triangle, and I'm so sure that there's other
I
spaces
immediately
out
think of
there
the
that are like
mermaids and their portals underwater.
absolutely by the Mediterranean, where and then you think about Antarctica and how Antarctica probably is iced over portals, and a lot of them, as the ice melts, a lot of portals are being opened.
I can't wait to start doing this explorer shit.
Yes, next season is gonna be fire. We're gonna travel. I'm putting my money on it. I spoke into existence during the Seeds of Sun podcast, and I was speaking about it during the planetary forecast I did. I was like, listen, next season we got to do a podcast tour. I think between us, Sons of Seed, Do the Knowledge, and all the podcasts he do, I think we could, and Mahatma Star Seed with the Elite Motivation, I think a nice team of us can come together and just explore and go on tour with our podcast and still have our individual episodes, and it be like, I think it would be dope.
That will be dope. Where are we going first?
You okay? Hold on a second. I don't know. Where we go first? Oh yeah, that's some SpongeBob shit.
Land
Like, like we want to go to Ham?
Yeah, let's
I'm
go
with
to
it.
Let's go to Ham.
Because they lying to us about Shem. We already on Shem.
Look, Shem is never disconnected from Africa, but they always want to disconnect that little piece. That little piece.
They always got them some random spot. This is
Mm-hmm.
my favorite. Well, I like this was like the history of like the Pangea and Laurasia and Gondwana. You know
I
how
like the
everything was
Gondwana,
split.
Laurasia. There's
Yeah,
always got
that
to be
makes
a
this
piece.
whole area weird.
There's always a piece that has to touch Africa, though.
So that means that Turtle Island is on your Eurasia, and so we're on two different. You know how they try to make this seem like these are two separate lands? That would make this still together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know
And
who that is, but I'm
And
gonna write his
Antarctica is
name down
cold and
to look him
icy
up.
right there at the bottom next to Australia. There's no parts of Australia, bro, that's that cold.
No.
And then the rest is
It
just
could have
water.
been once upon a time, you know, that ice could have melted. You know what I mean? Maybe that was once well, Antarctica is next to it. So maybe when that split, it did its
Mm.
own thing.
Uh, According to the new theory, dark matter particles can occasionally annihilate each other through nothing more than a chance of gravitational interactions. These chance interactions are known as the physics jargon as gravity portals, since they offer a way for particles to interact through gravity alone.
Ooh, I got a hypothesis. So, I mean, once upon a time we were very united people. Everything was one. And maybe because
It's
our
inside the
magnet
ocean.
as physical beings moved like we were one, maybe we were controlling to land.
Mm,
And maybe when we started to separate from each other, I, some more like, you know, Tower of Babel shit happening. Maybe it was more than one tower. Maybe it was multiple happenings that were just like separating us from each other. And now the lands are separated as we start to separate, the lands just keep separating. But maybe if we fine tune our magnets in our mind to become one again, maybe the things
hmm
will come back together again. I don't know. That's just a thought. Mud Fossil
You
University.
know
Thank you
what?
for the notes.
That sounds valid to me. Um, because once our languages got separated, once our tongue was different from others, whoever could understand each other, of course, had to.
Mhm.
Could you imagine how that day was? You just at work one day, and all of a sudden you just get mixed up. You can't understand your coworker.
Yeah, I'll be
Then you
like,
you
bro,
gotta
stop
find the
playing with
loudest
me.
nigga in the room, like, yo, can
Stop playing
anybody
with
hear
me.
me? Yeah, I hear you. Oh, you speak when I speak? Yeah, come this way. All right.
Mm-mm-mm.
I gotta look more into that though. Because to me, that's like a funny episode.
It really is. I got a friend, and I won't lie, he's very much into it. He just found God, so he's in that. I just found God in energy, and he's also a Virgo, so you can only imagine the energy he's spewing out.
He's
It's
gonna
so
be
cute to
extreme.
watch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's so extreme with feeding people the
Mm-hmm.
gospels. It's so
Mm-hmm.
crazy. And he's such a baby in the game. So he's really taking the gospels for how it is. I don't
Mm.
say nothing to him. I'm letting him live his journey. I told him I give him 5 years, but I think that he'll get it done faster than that. Um, but
Mm.
he's actually, I was trying to influence him to create a cartoon of the gospels, but he probably won't do it to our likeness. Not yet anyway.
Not with comedy. Not with comedy.
No, this man is very serious about the Lord.
Ah, the sun is electric and the earth is magnetic.
That makes sense. The moon is also considered a magnet, but we got into the moon actually being
Enlighten
flat
me,
earth,
Romeo.
didn't we?
I want to hear your thoughts on that about the sun being electric. I very much agree with you. The earth is magnetic.
The sun being electric makes sense because you figure the sun literally powers everything, and we have the mindset and the
Mm-hmm.
ingenuity to make everything on our planet power. We're solar
Mm-hmm.
powered beings, but we've been taught to move against nature. That's why, when we do move against nature, we be tired, our brain doesn't function correctly, we have poor diets, we're really out of whack, but we don't give ourselves that level of acknowledgement because we're slaves.
So we saying it's electric in like just a figure of speech in terms, or it's electric as it has like ions and um neutrons and shit like
Oh
that.
yeah, I definitely believe
Mm-hmm.
ions and neutrons, especially when you get
Mm-hmm.
into what is it called? Photosynthesis. That's a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
example. Even
Okay. Yeah.
the electromagnetic transmutation on your melanin. Your melanin does
Mm-hmm.
the same thing as chlorophyll.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense. I like
I
that.
like that.
I do like that.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna play around with that a little bit more when we get into the flat Earth versus round Earth episode.
Ooh. I thought that episode was next. I ain't hold you.
We
I
got
thought that was
the
the next one.
sovereignty episode next, and then I think we get into the flat Earth versus round Earth. This is with the upside down maps, but it's still like a misconception of the sizes of land. As you see, they still got the Eurasia and Northern Turtle Island as bigger pieces of land for obvious reasons. But we're
Are
still
you able
surrounded
to
by
zoom
ice.
in?
I
Is
can't
it?
zoom in from StreamYard.
Oh, okay.
They won't let me.
Come on, StreamYard.
Maybe I gotta figure out I gotta figure that out. Maybe if I share screen instead of sharing the presentation. Oh yeah, this is my favorite map as far as the lineage of Noah goes with Yafet in Asia and Shem in
Oh,
North
that looks
America
like
and Ham in Africa.
the what you call it map, the Golong map.
Mm-hmm.
Jupiter birth Venus.
I gotta get into that. I wrote that down. Mud Fossil University. I'm definitely gonna touch that.
Mm. Emmanuel Velikovsky is the true one. Romeo, you got to come on our podcast one day.
Yeah, man, you've been watching our
Come on.
episodes since season 1, holding it down, cuz.
Yeah. Come on to the. He should come on the flat Earth one.
Yeah, come on.
We really
That's all
appreciate
I
you,
got.
though.
That's all I got as far as the maps go. We talked about the maps with the monsters and the giants on there, and Tataria is another one that's a big one big land type of
I
map.
I believe that we'll have a lot when we get to the flat Earth episode and the round Earth
Absolutely.
episode because there's so many different. We know there's a lot of information to be shared on each, on each subject, on each side, in comparison.
Right.
I'm on the flat Earth side though.
That's
Jupiter
interesting.
is
I'm
pregnant
definitely
now.
I gotta get into that because I was taught that yeah, that is a feminine energy to Hootie.
Jupiter is a feminine
Yeah.
energy.
Because that's supposed to be the feminine energy of your sacral chakra, and then Neptune is supposed to be the masculine energy, I believe, or vice versa. I forget.
I
I
thought
do this shit
Jupiter
every
was a.
Monday, and I'll be
I thought
forgetting.
Jupiter was a male planet.
I mean, the personification of Jupiter is a man.
Mm-hmm.
Obatala,
Oh, it's probably that
they'll
masculine
take
ass female we were talking about earlier.
they'll take a masculine personification, but it's really feminine energy. You figure
Mm-hmm.
wisdom and intellect and all that; those are all internal things.
Okay.
It'll just be a play on mind. I'm definitely gonna look into mud fossil though, because you're blowing my mind over there. I would like to have more grounding on that. That's cool.
Yeah, mud fossil.
I can't wait for
Mm.
February. We're gonna get into the 3-part Alien series. That's gonna be fire. I
Oh, the
definitely gotta get
aliens.
that. Yeah, I gotta get that Beyond the Ice Wall book before we get to the Alien series. I don't get my game real
I
quick.
gotta get my copy too. I think I'm gonna
Yeah,
go on Amazon and order it. In fact,
yeah,
I'm gonna order 2 of them, and but I might do it this. I might do it this week if I get
yeah. I
back
think
out there
this
and I
week I'm
start
gonna
driving
be
and
a good
shit.
day.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the book club book with me and Zeke for a little bit.
Oh, dang. I want to join a book club.
Please,
I've
please.
wanted to join a book
Let's
club for
do
so
it.
long.
I've been trying to find a book for us to read that we both will like, cause it'd be crazy. I be trying not to be in control, but whenever he pick a book, I be like, that one.
Yeah, we gotta run our sons' lives,
Yeah,
for
because
the next.
whenever they do it, they always be doing the bare minimum, and I be like trying not to get upset, but like I be upset.
There you go. Yeah, you can't let them be lackadaisical. You just cannot. Because if I let Jordan, they like, yeah, he will.
Oh, the
Oh
spot
my
on
god, I
Jupiter,
remember he
yeah,
said,
the Europa spots and all those. I be talking about that on
mm.
the planetary forecast. I didn't realize that was a sign of pregnancy. Okay. I see what you're talking
Oh
about.
yeah, who she got pregnant by? Who her
Yeah,
baby daddy?
the gray spot in the middle of Jupiter, that joint is getting bigger. And when you
Who
see
is
the
Jupiter's
moon,
baby father? Or
I
she
don't
got
know, it
herself
might be
pregnant?
giving birth to a dwarf planet or it might split up. I don't know. Jupiter
It's
is getting kind
asexual.
of chunky out here.
Mm.
Yeah, planets just how women used to be asexual,
Mhm.
same vibe. They didn't catch up to the outer masculine feminine. I'm definitely open
Mm.
minded. I am definitely with the shits. That's all I got for this drawing. I'm happy to be here. I enjoyed this
We
episode, definitely.
this was a 3 hour episode, and I wasn't even expecting for it. Sis, I ain't gonna hold you. I was expecting for us to only do like an hour of this episode since we kind of came
Me
in, you know what
too.
I'm saying, on another time or whatever, and we didn't have a whole lot of information gathered, but it seems like we had enough because we can talk.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
can talk and
The
we
universe had
can
other plans.
yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that's how the Sunseed pod. That's why I ran in overtime because the Seas of Sun podcast is only an hour long. We were up there for 2 hours and some
Yeah.
change. On top of the fact that we were talking for like 30 minutes backstage before we even started the show. I'm like, oh wow, today is the day for us, I guess. We getting our stuff in order. Bump what the rest of these niggas talk about.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because we do a lot of talking stuff backstage too for a long time. That's on the usual. That's per usual
Right.
that we
Like,
do.
how you doing, sis? How you been?
Yeah, we really have been talking a lot since last season.
Thank
That first episode was like
you.
3 hours. We were talking backstage for 3 hours.
Yeah, this season has been very mind opening for me personally. Definitely doing a
Hmm.
lot of research and reading and learning and retouching the books on my library and stuff. I'm really enjoying myself.
I am too. I'm learning a lot of what I didn't learn. Um, what they
You're
was,
right.
and I'm unlearning what I was taught in school. The rest sloppy drunk about now.
It's about that time.
Yeah, I was going to have a glass of wine. I was thinking about it, but I was like, because when I am drinking wine, I can think a lot further. Well, it allows me to think a lot further, be more comfortable with sharing my thoughts on certain shit. Because sometimes I don't be
Hmm.
comfortable like how I think. Cause I think I just be thinking crazy sometimes. We appreciate you too,
Hmm.
Romeo.
Definitely.
Hmm. But some of my chefs don't be too far fetched.
Yeah.
Hell, Jupiter is freaking pregnant and has no baby daddy, for God's sake. So,
Yeah. Neptune giving birth to Venus. I gotta tap into this dude.
mm,
Definitely gotta tap in. I'm probably as soon as I get off of you, I might snuggle up, turn the light off, and turn on Mud Fossil real quick. See what the fuck you talking about before I shut my eyes.
I ain't gonna hold you. Look, after every episode we have done so far this season, I have did like little little previews of the what's to come for like what on finding information for the next episode and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Follow on YouTube videos or whatever. I enjoy it.
That's smart.
Yeah, I don't retain it all the way though. When I go to sleep on it, I just dream about it and then like it goes away. That's gotta go
Ain't not
look
wrong with
at
it.
it
It's in
again.
the subconscious. When I read stuff for the second time, it always clicks
Mm-hmm.
better than the first time. I have to watch. That's why it takes me so long to get through a YouTube video. I usually have to rewind it a lot of times and
Mm-hmm.
hear certain sentences twice, and then be like, oh, okay, cool.
You know what? This may sound so geeky of me, but I don't like to rewind it right then. I like to watch the whole thing,
No.
even if I understood like nothing. Then watch it the second
Mm-hmm.
time all the way through, and then watch the third time all the way through. Somehow, I figure if I rewind it, like I don't know, I'm messing up the time or some shit. It's
If
not like in
I'm
real time to me.
I get that. I definitely get that. The way my brain works is if I fall out and I miss a sentence,
Yeah,
oh, I'm drowning for the rest of the video, bro. I gotta
yeah.
rewind it or I don't hear nothing until
You
I
don't
like
hear nothing at
that.
all. Yeah.
I don't hear nothing real. Like I'm tuned out. Like I'm the same way with TV. That's why I'm a terrible person to watch TV. Like if you really into a show and you want me to know, like, oh, tell me what happened. I can't tell you what happened because I missed this one part. And once I missed that, I started making jewelry. I started sewing shit. I started
Yeah,
scrolling through my. I got lost. Like I can't do it, especially foreign shows. I can't. Once I miss a
yeah,
sentence, it's over after that.
yeah. I remember when me and Trey we watching like TV, and he'll leave out the room, whatever. So he'll automatically like expect me to pause it for him or whatever.
Mhm.
I'm just so I don't never really pause it because I'll be like, okay, I'm just still thinking like, okay, maybe he can hear it out there. I don't even expect him to pause it for me, but he'll pause whatever we're watching until I come back though. But I'll be like, no, you can go ahead and keep playing it. I'll be tuning in. Even if I don't get to watch it or if I miss anything, I'll just go back and look at it. The whole thing when I
Mhm.
can. I don't know. That's weird to me. I don't even know what
That's
that
not
is.
weird. I get it. Everybody got their own little nuances. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna let you know. I'm probably gonna get real comfortable after this and watch me a video because I'm not even tired. I'm not sleepy, but I am tired. I could lay
I'm
down
not
right now.
sleeping either. I'm gonna have me some wine before I lay down. And well, I was gonna get back out and like start driving again, but I'm like, it's kind of
Mm-mm.
late.
I don't like
And,
anybody drive like even when I used to celebrate New Year's, I did not
mhm,
like to go outside. Like me and my kid's dad was together for a minute, so we would go get a hotel room early in the day and we stay
yeah,
in there till the next morning. I lost a lot of friends to drunk drivers. And I
yeah,
just, especially when I was in college, especially my senior year of high school, like people dropping left and right. So like
yeah,
New Year's Day, I don't play. I tell my friend, please, if you could just wherever you go, if you could stay the night there until the morning, please do. If it's not
hmm,
somewhere where you could stay the night, please don't go. Like I can't
right,
by 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, everybody's fucking pissy drunk trying to race drive home because they're tired and I that yeah, I don't even
yeah.
want to
I'm
go
gonna
down that
just start.
spiral. I'm starting to get
I'm gonna just
feelings.
start out. I know we don't want your anxiety to rise. I'm gonna just start off early, in the morning, and I might do 12 hours tomorrow. Why
Okay,
are you bothering
that's
that
cool.
dog? Leave him alone. Yeah, I'll just do 12 hours tomorrow, whatever. I'm gonna try. I've been doing pretty good, like off of 5, 6 hours, 7 hours, or whatever, and not feeling so
That's
tired or
cool.
whatever. So it's the independency, and without supervision or whatever that I like about doing what I do with driving and
Believed. I
shit.
love Instacart.
You know what? I was really sucky at Instacart for the first couple of years because they want you to move fast. And
Mhm.
like certain stores, I would get like
Mhm.
intimidated by, like Aldi's. I would be intimidated by Aldi because Aldi's is
I
not
love Aldi's. That's the only one
organized.
I'll do it in.
It's not organized like how I want it to be organized. Okay. Don't
I
fucking
know what you
tell
mean. It's
me
not
shit
ShopRite.
about these fucking color coded shit. Okay. Why is rice not over here near flour and fucking baked goods and stuff? I just in pot or at least pasta. Why is it on an end cap by
They
itself
kill me
next
with
to
that
canned
seasonal aisle, the value aisle.
goods? Right. Like what are we doing here? Yeah, Aldi used to intimidate me, but it took me like all right, girl, you're not gonna let this defeat you, okay? Just go in there and try to do it as quick as you can. You know where the vegetables are, you know where the fruits are. But some shit is tricky. It'd be some shit like in the frozen section that is not where you would think it would be.
Peace, love. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I digress.
I would only do Instacart at the stores that I personally shopped at, or I really liked Wegmans,
Yeah.
because Wegmans, they would make their employees do the picking and I would just come pick up the bags and deliver it. Those, I was very strategic with the stores I chose. But I enjoyed it. It'll probably be a couple years before I can do Instacart again. I really I don't want to do it's I don't want to go crazy on my leg like I was before. Like I would be exercising for hours and then go outside and go for a walk for 3 hours and then go take a train to Philly, and that's like a good 2 hour trip. And like I really was hard on my legs, and I can't do none of that for a long
You
time.
can.
I got some
You
time.
will be able to. You got time for it to heal, sis.
I
You're
will.
only in your early 30s. You know what I'm saying? You're only in your early 30s.
Exactly. I got time. It's just I'm not 12 though. I
Yeah, I ain't no
just, you
spring
know
chicken
what
either.
my biggest fear is? I don't want this to pop back up. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Like I don't want to be another 20 years down the road. Now all of a sudden, oh yeah, you remember when you was trying to live like before you got your car accident? Well, now you got knee issues. Now you got hip issues. Now, you got issues with this and that and the third, because like you don't know how to chill the fuck out. I just want to find a better balance. I know I'm extreme. I'm very extreme on my body because I could be. I just want to find a balance now. I feel like that's my lesson here. Like chill the fuck out. Just a little bit. You good.
Your lesson is you love your body, but don't over love your body, I guess. Don't be an Elmira to your body. You know how
Right.
Elmira was to like the animals on Looney Tunes and shit? Don't be like an Elmira to your body. You got to appreciate your body for
Respect.
what you do for it for that day and let that be enough.
Mhm.
You know, you and Bug, I swear that's your child. So she twisted her hair, right, the other night.
Mhm.
And now she took the twisties on loose. She kept asking me yesterday, should I take them on loose? I'm like, leave them in another day because her hair is like really soft. And it looked like
Mhm.
kink and coils like mine, but it ain't like kink and coils like mine. All right. So I'm like, just leave it out. So she did her little leave it in. So she did a little twist out tonight. I'm like, oh, it's cute. And
Mhm.
y'all both light skinned. I believe that's your baby somehow. Look at her.
Mhm. She
I
looked
just
like Lava God. That's the baby she is. That's Lava God baby. She a Virgo too.
who?
Um, Lava God, the singer.
Which one?
You gotta check out her music. She's a
Let
good
me see.
artist. She make like,
She on
peace
YouTube?
music. It's spelled with two V's. Yeah, LAVVAGOD.
Lava God. GLAVVA
Mhm.
God.
Mhm.
Oh, is the lava goddess?
She does
She
have
got
a
eight
goddess
point.
album.
She got blonde hair, like a blonde wig. Oh,
No, no wigs. She should have big hair or short locks. Depends on
oh,
what picture you're
no,
looking at.
I mean, it might be her hair, but I said, you know,
Not blonde though. I never seen her with blonde hair. Maybe. I don't
is
fucking
this
know.
her?
Yes, that's her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, on her profile picture right there is the big blonde hair.
Okay. I don't really follow her on
Oh,
YouTube. She a little cutie.
she is cute. I like her short locks. Pretty. See, Bug, she embraces her hair. She embraces her hair as short or whatever. But
Mhm.
she's kind of limited on her imagination of what she can do with her hair. And I'm like, well, you can different, like you could do like a shortcut or whatever, because the back of her hair is shorter than the top or whatever, because she lays on the back of her head all the time. I've told her about this for thousands of years.
Makes sense.
And yeah. So I'm like, you can just get the back kind of like cut low or whatever, and you can have the top part, to where you could twist it and coil it, and then it'll be like that. It's still a style. You might not want to shave like the back of your hair like really, really low like a dude or whatever, but you can just cut it to where it will like wave, because her hair will wave up. Like that, and then just keep your twist, whatever. Since you like to sleep on the back of your head a lot, you know what I'm saying? So the wave's gonna be there forever.
Mm-hmm. That sounds good. Let's get out of this live though. This joint.
Yeah, let's get the hell out of here. We ain't
So
talking
peace,
about
y'all. Thank you for coming in. Catch you next episode.
Good night.